Worthen. Shallow kick on the run. Worthen, and the rookie from North Carolina State, is all the way to the 36-yard line. Kansas City with their new quarterback Steve Pelluer, yet to throw an interception in his 2+ games for the Chiefs, and Marty Schottenheimer, and a huge offensive line of John Olds, Mark Addix, Webster, the veteran from the Steelers, Lutz, and Eatman returns as a starter. Herman Hurd and Stephon Page, Pete Manley, and Jonathan Hayes, when they go into their pass offense, those men go out. And coming in, Todd McNair, a fine receiver out of the backfield, with Clarence Weathers, a former Brown, and Emil Harry, who leads Kansas City in receiving. From the Kansas City 36. Okoye makes his presence known on first down and rumbles for 5. The Nigerian Nightmare. And he's going to be the challenge for this Cleveland defense. Al Baker, Carl Hairston, Michael Dean Perry, and Robert Banks as they use the 4-3 defense. Bud Carson's Browns, Clay Matthews, Mike Johnson, the leading tackler, David Grayson, the backers, Minifield, Dixon, Wright, and Gash, the secondary. When they go to their dime defense against the pass, those two backers go out, and Mark Harper and Tony Blaylock come in. On 2nd and 5, Okoye again, but he gets only a couple. Okoye at 6'1" and 260 pounds with 4.48 speed, and he leads the NFL 936 yards coming in. That despite the fact he did not play last Sunday.
Well, they can't just count on Okoye to do it, or they're going to be putting in their nickel package, their 4 receivers, as they've just done. Because if they're just going to hand him the ball every down, that entire Cleveland Brown defense, a great defense, is going to be there waiting for him.
Well, they know it's going to take a lot of helmets on Okoye, and they're geared for just that. Pelluer out of the shotgun. 3rd down and 4. Complete to the Cleveland 49, and a first down as the pass is to Pete Manley, the ex-Detroit Lion. Dane Gash and Tony Blaylock on the coverage, as Pelluer, who has completed 24 of his 43 tosses with Kansas City, had his first touchdown last week to Emil Harry. He checks that wristband, which gives formations, not plays, after getting the play from the sideline signaled in by that man, backup quarterback Steve DeBerg, the veteran.
Well, with 2 distinct offenses, one with Okoye and 2 receivers, often 2 tight ends, or their 4 wide receiver offense. So this is a distinct offense, and there's Okoye again.
Okoye runs into a lot of white jerseys and gains only a couple to the Cleveland 46-yard line. Well, now that it's winter, change of dogs in the pound. A lot of those Alaskan Wolfhounds have made it to the game. They sat out during the early part of this season.
Well, they're going to have to show some change-up. Bud Carson felt that there's just one play they have to stop, one pass play with this group of offensive players in there, and that's their bootleg. They've been struggling throwing the ball all year, and just with basically only a bootleg as long as Okoye's in there. 2nd
and 8, a fake to Okoye, and Pelluer is wrapped up back at his 47-yard line. Number 97. Robert Banks, the former Houston Oiler, gets the sack. Looking at 2 of the top defenses in the NFL.
Well, we're going to get a play pass in here with a fake, but you've got so much action up inside that Pelluer gets himself caught right in this spot with nowhere to throw the ball. There's push from all over the field. So you can see Pelluer took his eye off the receivers because the defenders were putting so much heat on him in the pass rush. Again, they give us that 4 wide receiver set.
Michael Dean Perry also got a piece of that sack. Pelluer on the run gets it out to Clarence Weathers, the former Cleveland wide receiver, but he's shy of the first down as he's run out of bounds inside the 45, a 7-yard gain.
Well, there's field position. The one thing that Kansas City just accomplished in a game like this is get field position on the initial kickoff return. So now they've got the ball in position to get the Browns hold up inside their own 10-yard line.
And field position and early scoring may be a very important factor today. The weather forecast has rains coming during the course of the game, perhaps heavy rains. It's above freezing now. We don't expect the snow that we saw yesterday. Kelly Goodburn with the cube. McNeil back inside his 10. Chiefs have not been solid on special teams. He skids that one off the side of his foot, but it takes a good bounce and out of bounds at the Cleveland 12-yard line. So the Browns will have the ball when we return. Timeout here in Cleveland with 11 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Downtown Cleveland and the major arteries, some were closed by heavy wet rain. You can see the leftover on the sidelines. The field, however, covered, is in excellent shape. There are a few spots early that were frozen, but they may have thawed out. It'll be a little sticky, but as you can see from the first series, nothing serious. The key now will be whether we do get rain later on today. First down for the Browns, and Bernie Kosar sets up camp at his own 12-yard line. With the weather cold and expected to be wet, turnovers could be a part of the game story, and that has been a negative aspect for Kansas City and a plus for Cleveland all year. Tim Manoa, the Tongan truck, gets a yard or two out to the 13-yard line. Manoa played at Penn State. His dad, a rugby star, and now back in Tonga. There's the offensive line of Aaron Banker, Rakosi, Fike, and Rison. Bernie Kosar with Manoa and the rookie Metcalf, Slaughter and Langhorne, the outside receivers. Ozzie Newsome, the tight end. He goes out along with Metcalf when they go to their pass offense. Moyer Tillman and Brian Brennan make it a 4-wide receiver offense. Kosar, second down and 8. Metcalf's first carry, and he skids out to the 19-yard line, and he was a tackle away from something big. It was Albert Lewis making the stop. Neil Smith, Dan Saliamua, Leonard Griffin, the front three with Martin, Ashley Hackett, and Derrick Thomas, the brilliant rookie, the linebackers. When they go to their prevent defense or their dime package, Pearson and Copeland come in to join the starting four of Lewis, Ross, Porter, and Sherry, the defensive secondary. Porter also goes out in their dime, and Lloyd Burris, the veteran safety man, comes in. Albert Lewis, after making that tackle, leaving the field in pain. It's third down and about 1.5 yards. It's Metcalf again, and he may have gotten a first down as he squeaked it out to the 22-yard line. That looks to be enough. J.C. Pearson made the tackle, and there is Eric Metcalf, one of the outstanding rookie runners in the league this year from the University of Texas, where he was a brilliant triple jumper. 27 feet 8 inches his best, and nearly made our 1988 U.S. Olympic team.
He's had a great year thus far, but when you look at his averages, only 3.6 per rush and only 5.9 per reception. Not a lot. He's making a lot of things happen in like a 5-yard area, making a lot of people miss and getting his first downs, but he's just yet to really break out and make the big play down the field.
Leads the Browns in touchdowns with 7. That's right. We've seen already. He's getting those 4s and 5s and very nearly breaking through. Kosar's pass is over the middle to Slaughter, and he has another first down at the 34. Pearson makes the tackle. Webster Slaughter.
Slaughter releasing is one who got the great release, probably the best release in the NFL against the bump and run or press technique. He can get off that line coming up underneath, and he has an excellent man covering him, but he's so quick. He gets out underneath that thing so quickly. And Ross, one of the best defensive backs in the league, was trying to be physical at the line, and Slaughter was too quick for him.
Slaughter looking at a possible 1,000-yard year, and that's a rare statistic for a Brown wide receiver. Metcalf skipping away from trouble in his own backfield and then gains 1 yard or 2 out to the 36. Albert Lewis is back in now for Kansas City.
Well, what we're going to get is a lot of movement up inside, but that was just a super quick movement up inside by Salamoa. You'll see him right here, so quick that he's going to make his move, and there's going to be a complete miss. There's the move coming right up between people, and he penetrates so fast that Metcalf can't do anything but just avoid him.
Saliamua in for Bill Moss, the veteran nose tackle who broke his arm in the final play of the game against Denver last week.
There's some diversity of this Cleveland offense, more than Kansas City showing, and that could be the difference in the game.
Metcalf, and it's rookie against rookie. Derrick Thomas, who's having a tremendous first year out of the University of Alabama, the 4th player picked in the draft, makes the tackle.
He is so quick, so elusive, he's becoming a dominating player in his own sense. You see this athletic ability. Push back. Now he just comes off the block smoothly and makes a play. Now Manoah has been thinking about blocking him all week, and he's indicated to us over and over as we visited, he's been practicing against that quickness. Inside, outside, over the top, really tough to handle.
Only
Derrick
a yard
Thomas.
game. It's 3rd down and 7. Kozar in pressure, and down he goes, and Thomas gets a piece of him. The initial contact made by veteran Mike Bell, number 99. He had Kozar slowed down, and then the help came from Thomas.
Well, there's a great defense we're seeing that's been playing by Kansas City, but this time Thomas is going to make his play from the outside, but Bell gets the pressure on that really makes a difference. You see that push right up into him. Now, again, Derrick Thomas with his quickness comes back underneath and sort of picks up what they call a garbage sack.
Ooh, low snap, but Brian Wagner gets it away. Naz Worthen gets a high bounce at the 18. No flag. Now the flag goes down, and Worthen is out to the 39-yard line, but apparently they're going to call that one back. Stan Petrie was the man who seemed to have a block in the back.
Well, that kills field position. That penalty on the punt return really is a problem. There's Marty's brother coaching the special teams, and again, they've had so many problems with it.
And they've had problems with penalties. Last week, 12 penalties, 90 yards that stalled a couple of drives against the Broncos.
Pushing it back. Number 45 on the return. 1st down.
So instead of a 20-yard return and good field position,
you're going to see right here, you're going to see the foul itself. And again, this is the new rule interpretation. There was a shove there. It really didn't look that dramatic.
So the Chiefs will start from their own 14. And the Chiefs, that's a major penalty of about 26 yards because they would have had the ball out near the 40 on Worthen's punt return. Instead, no score. 6.5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter, and Christian Okoye plows out to about the 18-yard line.
Excellent cutback, and as the one ingredient you know will always be there with Okoye, he is going to fall forward. That time when he was hit, he still made an extra 6 feet, 2 yards, but what a difference. He's going to break back behind things, and we're going to get an excellent block right here by Webster. See him push, and he shoves his man right out of the way. Now watch where Okoye is hit and where he falls. You'll see a difference of 2 yards, and that makes the difference between him becoming a rushing champion.
Get much this time, just to the 20-yard line, and a yard gain. Big Daddy Carl Hairston, 78, and others to make the stop, and will bring up 3rd down and 4. And Marty Schottenheimer sends in 2 wide receivers and Todd McNair.
So again, the alternate offense is coming on the field, and if they can't do a better job moving the ball with Okoye, that alternate offense, the 3-receiver offense, will have to carry the game today. Thus far, it's been so obvious Okoye is going to take the ball, and Cleveland's sitting there waiting for him.
Valor, and he admits he's still learning each week, having been acquired from the Dallas Cowboys less than a month ago.
They've got a full press defense, man-to-man all over the field.
And Valor just does duck out of the way. He's got running room. 20, 30, good speed for the big quarterback, and down he goes with a 1st down at the 38-yard line. And Valor, who has rushed 16 times for 125 yards, as you can see, picks up a big chunk on that play, 18 yards.
That was intelligent running. It looked as though he would make maybe 5 yards, but as it turned out, he's almost going to get a sack up inside here. Now when he jumps outside, just pure athletic ability right there, but he knows what to do from this point on. Good vision up the field. Watch him cut back into a big hole in the defense. He'll cut right back into the middle. Nobody was there.
1st down at the Kansas City 38. No score, 1st quarter. Okoye out to the 40-yard line. Nothing fancy about the 1st down calls. It's just Okoye straight ahead behind the blocks of Webster, Lutz, Alt, Eatman, who's back in there, and Addix.
It's going to be okay if they can do this the entire game. That would mean Okoye would have to carry the ball 40 times before it really starts paying off. Right now, a lot of punishment being taken for 2 and 3 yards. That won't show up until the third or fourth quarter, probably the middle of the third quarter, if Okoye can stand up to it.
Averaging less than 3 a carry. Okoye again. And he's met solidly at the 40-yard line.
That's not going to do it, Dick. That's not going to do it.
Thane Gash came up from the secondary along with Felix Wright to help out.
Well, here comes the pass offense group, and obviously we know what they'll do now. They're going to throw the ball.
Detroit scores first. Barry Sanders, we'll see him Thanksgiving Day. Pittsburgh a field goal lead. Dallas scores first. Buffalo 7-0 Minnesota. Herschel Walker took the opening kickoff back over 90 yards for a touchdown. They missed the extra point. Tampa Bay a field goal. New Orleans and Atlanta tie. Here no score. 2:50 remaining in the first quarter.
Bud Carson calls this his full press look. 10 men at the line of scrimmage. 4-man rush.
Flag down. This is Todd McNair, and the young halfback from Temple University is knocked out of bounds shy of a first down. But let's check the penalty flag. Pat Haggerty is the referee today. And it's against the Browns, so Kansas City won't get a first down, but will get 3rd and short. What is that full court press you're talking about?
Thus far, right. Bud Carson talked about a full press, a half press, or basically a hanging defense.
Number 60, defense, lined up in the neutral zone.
In that case, you'll see the entire defensive front sitting on that line of scrimmage, threatening to blitz. Now, obviously, it's man-to-man defense with a single free safety sitting back here to protect against the ball deep down the middle. But they're going to have everybody on that line of scrimmage, and they're going to threaten a blitz every time until Pelluer can get a ball thrown down that field or run with it, because in man-to-man defense, nobody will see Pelluer running until he gets 10 or 12 yards down the field. They'll all be watching their receiver. Thus far, Cleveland has just come up the field hard.
Intercepted and then dropped, and the penalty flag is down.
Might have had a defensive holding out there, Dick.
And for Dixon, had his hands on his 2nd interception of the year, but might have had his hands on more than that. And the top dog, cornerback Dixon's going to get some more yardage for arguing. He may have barked the wrong words.
Well, they're being so physical defensively that you're going to get some defensive holding with that tight press bump and run. Now that's going to really hurt. There's so much of that demonstrating going on now, Dick. Players and officials, that it's good to see at some point a flag go up for it to calm everybody down. There's too much demonstrating.
Al Bubba Baker trying to soothe the emotional wounds of Hanford Dixon, and now let's see what Pat Haggerty and company have called apparently a penalty on the pass, and then another unsportsmanlike penalty against Dixon as Marty Schottenheimer, age 45. Kind of strange for him to be on that other sidelines in the different colors.
We have the illegal motion, offense, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense will enforce the 15-yard penalty.
Oh, goodness, the penalty was not against Cleveland. Why was Dixon arguing in the first place?
He just didn't stop and wait. He decided that it was going to have to be on him if they called it.
So Dixon, not knowing that the penalty was against Kansas City, argues, and needlessly so, and picks up 15, and that is the overruling call and carries the first down penalty for Kansas City inside the 40. Well, it's great to be emotional, but that is really carrying it to an unfortunate extreme for Bud Carson's Browns.
Well, that hurt. Now, it won't make much difference unless the offense, Joe Pendry's offense for the Chiefs, changes their first and second down calls. They're just not going to get it done putting Okoye into that middle, because Cleveland is just firing up that field defensively. Their entire defensive line is attacking.
Okoye tries the outside this time. And the flag goes down as Okoye is tackled around the 37-yard line. Mike Johnson and Felix Wright in on the stop.
Most often that call from downfield, that holding call, will be on the tight end. Most often the official down the field is watching the tight end. But again, they're going to have to change up these calls.
Offense, number 85.
Tight end Jonathan Hayes.
Jonathan Hayes. Hayes is trying to sustain that block down the field and controlling it, so his hand is coming right up underneath Matthews right there. He's got a hold of him right there with his left hand. Just enough, then he lets go, but that gives Okoye just enough time to skirt to the outside.
So the 10-yard penalty, first down and 20. Christian Okoye on the sidelines now. Herman Ferd and James Saxon are the running backs with Ballore.
Just look for that bootleg play here pretty quick. That's their basic pass play with this group of players in the game.
Ballore and Hanford Dixon had great field position again and almost an interception. That's two that Dixon has nearly picked off.
Well, there was some pressure coming up inside on Ballore, but that's one of the toughest. We're going to get a blitz up inside, but that's one of the toughest throws in the game. That 5-yard throw to the outside, or that 5-yard throw to the outside with 5 steps, basically. A tough throw to the sideline. The ball is in the air and it's underthrown.
And it's fortunate, had it been thrown properly, Hanford Dixon would be celebrating in the end zone right now. Matthews now lined up right. Now he moves left with the tight end. Ballore over the middle, and again a near interception by Hanford Dixon. He's had his hands in the pie 3 times already, and they're happy about it.
Steve Ballore is telegraphing these throws, Dick. He's looking right at his receiver, stepping and throwing, and Dixon, with all of that experience, is reading not only Ballore, but at the same time reading the pass pattern itself. See, Dixon looking inside all the way. He can see the slant pattern coming. Now, Ballore took 3 steps and through. Dixon, with all that experience, could read that quarterback drop and read the receiver pattern.
Oh, third down and 20.
Cleveland is going to really unload up that field. They're going to really test Eatman as a pass protector.
And Ballore is wrapped up by number 24, Tony Blaylock.
Ballore is down, Coach. He's down. That was a shovel pass that was attempted, where Ballore would throw the shovel pass or run with it himself. Cleveland was just coming up that field so hard, no one could control them. Nobody was blocked.
So as Ballore has attended, this first quarter certainly has lived up to what both coaches predicted. It would be a defensive battle. These two outstanding defensive teams, each waiting for the other to make a mistake.
You're going to see a blitz from the outside right here. But Ballore is going to want to run a shovel pass where he pitches the ball or runs with it himself, but there's just too much heat, too fast. There's a corner blitz coming upfield. Ballore nowhere to go with the ball.
Boy, Cleveland really defensive. They had both Ballore and the shovel pass receiver
They
covered.
had everything taken care of. Now, when he throws that ball, he's vulnerable. It's hard to say really what occurred.
Looked as if his knee was twisted underneath him, Steve Ballore, who is still receiving treatment on the field. Timeout. Carried off the field by his teammates. And now on 4th down, Kelly Goodburn is in to punt.
You can almost see from here, as they moved that knee, it looked loose. I wouldn't want to give a diagnosis from 600 feet away, but that sure looked what it looked like.
Goodburn with Ice Cube McNeil, a very short kick off the side of his foot, and bounces out of bounds at the Browns' 30-yard line. Cleveland will have the ball. Steve Ballore, starting quarterback, is hurt, so we will see his replacement when we come back.
Sports serves your need to know all week long. Dial 1-900-454-3500 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the USA.
Here at Cleveland Stadium, temperature in the 30s. And they cheered that first score here in Cleveland. The Bengals trailing the Lions 7-0. Pittsburgh an early lead. Dallas 7-0 over Miami. Buffalo, Thurman Thomas having a great year, has scored for the Bills. Minnesota, Philadelphia 6-3. Walker, a kickoff return touchdown. Tampa Bay gets an interception return for a touchdown, and they lead at Chicago 10-0. They beat the Bears earlier this year down in Florida. There's Steve DeBerg, his hands in the warmer. He'll be the new quarterback for Marty Schottenheimer, as Bernie Kosar, who was injured against Kansas City in the opener last year, takes over now for Cleveland at the 31. No score. Minute and a half left, first quarter. Kosar, a little roll. Thomas after him, and he nails him. Incomplete the pass, and Derrick Thomas, like a shot, in on the Cleveland quarterback.
Thomas is so explosive. Now he's going to come off Newsom's block, who then was going to release up the field. So Newsom's going to hit him here. Now watch. Now he'll release as a receiver. But this man is so quick that Bernie had nowhere to go with the ball. He's going to be a dominant force in this league with all that quickness and plus that enthusiasm he has for the game.
He's one of only 9 rookies in the league to have started every game this year. 10 games now, 11. And the only linebacker so honored. Boy, he shows the talent to deserve that. Any flag? No flag, apparently. And now it goes down. So does Kosar. And Derrick Thomas right around him.
Thomas again on a blitz coming up inside. The game plan was for Thomas to really key off of Metcalf.
Dan Saliamua, who is playing in the middle for the injured Bill Moss, and he gets up slowly. Let's see about the call.
Offside. Defense. Still second down.
Saliamua may have been the man offside.
Well, you're going to see offside up inside, but also you're going to see this man blitz. And it sort of portends what's going to be happening a little later, because he's so quick, he's right there again. And that makes Kosar avoid, and in avoiding, he's out of position to throw a football. So it just breaks down the passing game.
Marty Schottenheimer knows Kosar well, wants to apply pressure, especially up the middle on him today, he told us. Second down and 5. That was Manoa in motion. And then they swing it the other way to Metcalf. Out of bounds, close to a first down at the 41-yard line. Kevin Ross made the tackle, number 31.
Ross really, the strong man of this team, Kevin Ross, the corner, because he really sets an example for everyone in his fierce competitive nature. Good setting down for the tackle itself. You see him gather right up underneath with his feet up underneath him, ready to explode into the tackle. He's against one of the best open field runners in the game. He just got his feet right up underneath him, looked him right in the eye, and just mirrored him and knocked him out of bounds.
And you see who the other man was assisting on the tackle? Derrick Thomas.
58.
He is all over the field in this first quarter. Derrick Thomas. He said, you know, what an athlete he is. He'd never played golf. You see Steve Bloor going back to the locker room with that knee.
Yeah, they've tried to immobilize it immediately to reduce any swelling, I guess. But that looks like trouble. Well, they have Steve DeBerg. We'll see him in a few minutes, I'm sure, and we can talk about him. But
well, Derrick Thomas, we're talking about what an athlete he is. He'd never played golf. He said within 3 months he's shooting in the high 80s, shot an 88. He said Lawrence Taylor promised that if he makes the Pro Bowl, Taylor will take him on over in Hawaii.
He won't talk him about linebacking with him. He won't help him with that, but he'll help him with golf.
With a slice. They make the first down on the Metcalf pass, and this is Manoa straight ahead for about 3. Leonard Griffin, number 98, in on the stop. Griffin from Grambling.
Well, that was an interesting move. Interesting move by Thomas that time. He had Eric Metcalf in his line of vision, and he was right with him, regardless of where the ball was going.
And there's the gun, the end of the opening quarter here in a scoreless game in Cleveland.
If ever a name.
And it does appear that that first big break by either team might be the key, and Cleveland is best in the National Football League on that turnover table, a plus 14, and the Chiefs one of the worst records in that regard. They're winning teams when they don't turn it over, and they're losers when they do. So
well, I think it's Dick. I think it's really a matter of developing a state of mind among players, and it takes time. Just individual breakdowns here and there have cost the Chiefs, but this very natural. I think Marty Schottenheimer's done an excellent job of putting it together, but that's about the last thing you clear up, are all those little breakdowns.
Kozar, with Browns in their best field position of the game, goes underneath and completes to Mike Oliphant in the ball game. One of the rare times from Puget Sound, the man that they received from the Redskins for Ernest Biner. And that moves Cleveland for the first time into Kansas City territory, and a first down at the Chiefs' 48.
Well, Metcalf basically has taken the job that Oliphant would have had. Metcalf does those kinds of things that Oliphant can do so well, and so now that's given him very limited duty, but Oliphant still can make a play, catching the ball in short and making people miss.
On first down, it's Manoa. And just as it appeared he might get 5 or 6, a fine charge by Saliamua, number 97. Detroit still with the Sanders touchdown. No changes in those scores, nor those. Tampa Bay trying to hand a double dose of defeat to the Bears, 10-0. Bud Carson, for a year, was the defensive coordinator in Kansas City, and in part responsible for the formation of that great defensive backfield. He saw the talents of Burris and Cherry, Albert Lewis. Lewis, a rookie, his year there in '83. Kozar to the sidelines to Slaughter, and Slaughter with a first down at the 35.
That's become one of the real great combinations in football, obviously, throughout the early season. Slaughter, knowing that ball's halfway there when he looks, he bursts down that field, releasing up the field on Lewis, one of the best cover men in the game. He plants and the ball's halfway there. He goes up for it using his body. Again, he's Albert Lewis, one of the best cover people in football. Slaughter, what a great matchup.
Well, they list him at 170. He says he's 165, and as Marty Schottenheimer said in trying to defend him, one thing I told my defensive back, Slaughter can get skinny in a big hurry. He's already thin. He really gets skinny at the line of scrimmage. You can't knock him off.
Well, he's proud of how he releases against the bump and run.
Terry Metcalf, he's hit hard at the line of scrimmage and twisted back.
Number 58 was in on that tackle, by the way.
They're going to call his name often, I think, for many years if he stays healthy. Derrick Thomas, only 22 years old.
Again, about Webster Slaughter, he's got one of the great releases against bump and run. Oh, there's Kevin Mack.
Out of prison, the fullback of the Browns spent 33 days in shackles in prison, and he's now trying to work himself back into shape. He lost a lot of weight, down to 217 pounds. They feel it'll be 3 or 4 weeks before he actually is in football playing condition. He's not working out with a team. He's working out in the weight room.
Well, incarceration may work. I guess Kevin's going to find that out. But he's back, and he's well-liked and well-received by his teammates.
2nd and 9. It's Slaughter again. And he has another first down to the 21 before Lewis can haul him down from behind.
An excellent move by Slaughter, starting to his inside and then breaking right back outside with the coverage. And again, Bernie Kosar has developed this timing with Slaughter that's among the best in pro football. Watch him start in real hard. He's got Lewis chasing him, plants and comes right back out, catches the ball, and up the field he goes. You know, Dick, I'm proud of that little move, because it was first used with Chip Myers against the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1973 for a touchdown, and it's been adapted throughout the league.
When you were an assistant coach of the Bengals?
I was assistant coach with the Bengals.
What did you call it then?
Oh, that was a stutter out.
Stutter out. First, Bernie Kosar doesn't like the play for the defense and calls time with 11 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first half. The Browns with the deepest drive of the game. We'll be right back, hosting the Browns, 12 o'clock for NFL Live on Thursday.
Looks like those Lions have really improved with that silver stretch offense.
And Barry Sanders, one of the top rushers in the league. He has a touchdown today. Tim Manoa on first down, and Derrick Thomas can't bring him down. He just keeps driving inside the 15-yard line.
Well, this game meant a lot to Manoa because with Marty Schottenheimer as the coach, at one point when he started Tim Manoa, he pulled him after Manoa fumbled. 2 plays into the game. He didn't play again the entire game. So in speaking with him, he spoke very strongly about wanting to demonstrate to Marty Schottenheimer. He can carry that ball. He's a viable starter. And look at the strength, spinning off and still falling forward. That's just what you want from your fullback. Those extra 2 yards.
And brings up second and short when you're down close to the goal line. It's Manoa again. And he's stacked
That's a little
up.
tougher. Wow.
Tim Manoa, who born in Tonga, fumble now, and they say it is a Chiefs ball as Dan Saliamua. So Samoan falls on the Tonga Trucks fumble, and I didn't see the ball squirt out of there. They just stole it from Manoa, trying to go for the extra yards.
Well, maybe Marty Schottenheimer knew something. I don't know.
Lloyd Burris was in on the hit. Let's take another look at it. Go in with, come out without.
Well, we can get our eye on this and see as much as we can from this angle to see. Now, he's going to be right here. He's going to drive into that line of scrimmage. And he looks fine. And Burris is going to come up in there. There he is, spinning off. Now, the ball is being pulled away from him right there. The one thing you can't do if somebody's got a hold of the ball with you is try to pull it away from them. If you're the ball carrier, hold on and stay right there. Because when you pull, he might end up with it.
And Lloyd Burris pilfers the ball. Steve DeBerg, the new quarterback. And he goes deep. Pete Manley with a game try at the Cleveland 40. He was covered by Frank Minifield. So DeBerg, the veteran from San Jose State, comes in and airs one out.
Well, they must feel fortunate to have Steve DeBerg now. He's done this throughout his career. Be a backup, pushed out of the starting role, but again, going onto the field and being expected to perform.
You're just joining us, Steve Pallure, Bill, with a strained right knee, injured in the first quarter, and he's back in the locker room being cared for. And DeBerg, who was the starter, along with Ron Jaworski at the beginning of the year. In fact, the two veterans said it would be a tag team season, but there's Jaworski. He's on the injured list as well. And Okoye racked up at the 10. So far, Christian Okoye has not been a factor. Tom Gibson, a former New England Patriot, a Plan B free agent, makes the tackle.
Well, Michael Dean Perry was right in the middle of that play again. He's up inside, a dominating kind of player. And if they're going to run inside, they're going to have to deal with Perry particularly.
Michael Dean Perry, who broke his brother's records in sacks at Clemson. McNair, number 48, comes in. They like to throw to him out of this set. You saw him raise his hand. Good protection for DeBerg, and he hits his man. It appeared to be Clarence Weathers out at the 25-yard line. No, it's Emil Harry. Harry from Stanford, number 86, makes the catch.
Well, that might be a play that Steve Pallure would not have made. With DeBerg's experience, he hung in that pocket, got good protection, and waited for Harry.
Harry, who has 24 catches now to lead Kansas City with only 24.
Harry's going to release up the field to the inside. You see him bursting right there. And he's going to wait. Now he finally has the ball thrown to him.
Clay Matthews coming back to make the tackle. First down for Kansas City. No score. Whoops. DeBerg falls down, and a flag goes down near him.
He may have had an offside.
Frank Minifield in from a corner, invading the backfield. It's against Kansas City.
It looked like one of the defensive linemen moved, but it was most likely because one of the offensive linemen tipped it off, lifted his hand or something.
Michael Dean Perry nodding. Yep, he pulled me off.
Holding.
Oh, boy.
Number 72, offense.
David Lutz, worse than 5 yards. Lutz guilty of the hold.
Well, you see, Lutz is going to be called for holding when that ball is snapped. So we'll take a look at what they do. Up the field, there is the holding right there. Right at the end of the play, right here, you see the holding.
Half the distance. Okoye across the 15 to the 17-yard line.
I think to win this, DeBerg's going to have to throw. They're going to have to leave their initial plan, and DeBerg's going to have to be throwing that ball 30 to 35 times. He's got the experience. He's got the touch. Good receiving. Good protecting line. He's going to have to do that because as of now, Okoye isn't getting anything done. They're just not able to completely block everybody in that defensive front from Cleveland. Cleveland is just too good defensively to run on.
DeBerg, however, this year when he was playing, 4 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions.
Well, they're going to have to take a chance on it.
Saxon and Hurd with DeBerg. Out of the backfield, knocked down by Tom Gibson. They like Gibson from Northern Arizona, same school that produced the wide receiver for Kansas City, Pete Manley.
Well, that 6-7 paid off there because he was able to get his hands up. DeBerg, in a sense, telegraphed the throw. Look at DeBerg. Look to his right now. Now Gibson jumps and bats the ball. So when Gibson saw DeBerg look right at him, right through him, he just jumped and the ball came naturally.
That was a big play because Saxon, the intended receiver, was open in the flat and had a couple of red jerseys out there with him. The repairman, Steve DeBerg.
Corner blitz.
Oh my, and that could be a fumble. And Kansas City recovers. Mark Harper was coming in on the blitz, and so was Blaylock. They sent the full house after DeBerg. Steve DeBerg. And the Chiefs quickly getting their punting team onto the field, so the Browns can't get set up, but eventually they do anyway. And Kelly Goodburn has not punted well thus far, and oh, he just got that one away. And doesn't get much distance at all to the 35-yard line, and that is it, and the Browns fans cheer that defensive sequence.
An excellent job by Bud Carson's defense in masking a blitz. They showed a number of their defensive backs deep down the field, but they're going to blitz people right off of these corners and surprise DeBerg. He's going to be surprised. I honestly feel DeBerg audibled for a zone defense, and there came that blitz.
And the Chiefs fortunate they recovered DeBerg's fumble. Timeout. 7 minutes to go in the half.
More power when you need it most. And by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name.
So after a 26-yard punt by Kelly Goodburn, Kozar on first down tries to hit the fullback Manoa, and Dino Hackett on the coverage for Kansas City. Cleveland with excellent field position at the Chiefs' 34-yard line.
Hackett did a great job of covering there because he had to come from the inside and get into that flat in a hurry against Manoa. And he has excellent speed for a linebacker. He's a 4'6", 4'7" kind of runner, and he got out there quick enough to make the play.
Pro bowler Hackett, his biggest problem is maintaining the weight. Wouldn't that be a nice thing to have going for you? He just has to eat 4 meals a day and force feed himself to stay at 230. Kozar with pressure on, and the man who got him from behind was Derrick Thomas, and a flag goes down. Thomas got a piece of it almost appeared that he got a piece of the ball as Kozar was rifling the ball forward.
Paul Farron had to block him. Offensive tackle had to block him. He's just too quick for a tackle.
Holding, number 74, offense, still second down.
Paul Farron. Let's go back and look at 58 in red.
He is so quick that the tackle has to really be prepared. Now you'll see Farron come out for him and begin to lose him right there. And, well, I can't say that should have been a call. I didn't see anything there that should have been called. One of those phantom calls.
Well, in basketball, it would have been a jump ball. He had him tied up there, hand right on the ball as Kozar tried to throw it. So it's second down and 20.
Well, Kozar is good at these second and long situations. He'll get half of it the first play, and the second. On third down, he'll get the other half most likely.
Got Slaughter to the right. The leading pass receiver has 3 today and dumps it underneath, and it's broken up. This time by number 98, Leonard Griffin. Griffin, whose sister was on the U.S. Olympic team in 1980 in basketball. Sister Eleanor played at Louisiana Tech, and he used a little basketball blocking move himself on that play.
They wanted to throw a screen to Metcalf, and it just never got developed. Griffin was right in the middle of the blockers, was right next to Metcalf. Kozar had nothing really to do with the ball.
Okay, this is a little bit of the Cincinnati Bengals, Sam White's. They went to that little sugar huddle and kept the Kansas City 11 on the field. 3rd and long. Kozar racked up by number 90, Neil Smith.
Well, both teams have great defense, and we're starting to get a good look at it right now. The defenses are beginning to totally dominate the game.
And that'll take the Browns out of field goal range.
Neil Smith's going to be coming off the corner, and he's just going to beat his man. That's all there is to it. We don't have a real good look at it all the way around the corner from the defensive right end position. And he had Farron that time. Farron is having a tough time. He's got Neil Smith one play and Derrick Thomas the next. That's a pretty tough combo.
10 men on the line of scrimmage as Wagner just gets it away. As Worthen, I don't think he had a chance to catch the ball, and a flag goes down. They interfered with Worthen's opportunity to receive the ball, and that'll be a penalty against Mike Oliphant.
It's pretty obvious, that one.
Now, that last defensive sequence sparked by Derrick Thomas and then featuring the sack by Neil Smith took the Browns from the 34 back to their own 45. And no field goal chance.
Well, if anybody was on the ropes, it would have been the Chiefs in that last series. They had terrible field position, had lost momentum. Their starting quarterbacks out of the game. There's the bad call.
Oliphant with a penalty, and when we come back, Kansas City will start from the Chief 41-yard line. And with a touchdown pass to tie the Lions, Jim McMahon has thrown a touchdown for the Chargers. Dallas leading Miami 7-3. A couple of field goals for the Patriots to cut the Bills' lead to 1. Minnesota still leading Philly by 3. Tampa Bay. The Bears. Butler has tied Mosley's NFL record for consecutive field goals, 23 in a row now. There's Steve Bloor back on the sidelines, but apparently won't play the rest of this game.
Well, that's a good sign right there, the fact that he's back outside. I thought he might be immobilized and hospitalized.
Now, they're both teams in a long-range debate complaining about a uniform. Pete Manley, number 89, seems to be the target of Browns.
Maybe it's that stickum or something that you would have. I can't think of anything else.
So Cleveland with a chance had the ball inside the 15. Manoa would fumble. Then they got the short punt started from the Kansas City 34. A penalty and a sack moved them out of field goal range, and then a penalty on interfering with the punt returner has put the Chiefs in position at their 41. No score. 6:16 left in the first half. Steve DeBerg off the bench. What a throw and a first down to Manning. Oh my, that could have been a penalty coming in late. Was Felix Wright.
Well, again, if DeBerg will go right ahead and throw. Now, this is very good protection up front. Excellent protection. We lose everybody else, but if DeBerg will throw that ball on first down, you see we're going straight up the field by Manley. A break right across the middle. DeBerg waits until he's open against his own defense. Well thrown. Now, DeBerg has that talent to throw the ball.
Now Okoye, and they have really marked him as the man to follow. He's drawing full defensive attention, and Clay Matthews and company, along with David Grayson, two outside backers, making the tackle for a loss.
Well, it's extremely well conceived defense by Cleveland. Dan Radakovich, their defensive coordinator, has done an excellent job of putting a defense together to stop Okoye, and they're doing it.
And a 10-yard penalty for holding against the Chiefs. DeBerg using the timeout for the penalty to go to the sidelines.
There's Pendry, the offensive coordinator.
Offense.
Tom Pendry was one of the men that went with Marty Schottenheimer from Cleveland to Kansas City, and apparently was one of those coaches that was involved long range in the total story of Schottenheimer exiting Cleveland right after the wild card between Christmas and New Year's shocked everyone in this town and around the NFL when he, just after meeting with Art Modell, who suggested he make some coaching changes, Modell, the owner of the Browns, said, I want you to be the head coach. I don't want you to be the offensive coordinator. And Schottenheimer would not make the changes. And I'm sorry then, I'm going to have to leave, and did. Okoye straight ahead and gets into Cleveland territory to the 48-yard line. Michael Dean Perry underneath to make the tackle.
He did not follow his blocking on that play. Okoye broke behind his pulling lineman because he's lost confidence in where they're going.
Remind you to stay tuned for NFL Live. Headlines prior to the start of action today. The new commissioner with his comments regarding the NFL drug policy. Bobby Beathard says the Redskins will play better without Dexter Manley. And there are a group of 4 will be with you at halftime with all the scores and highlights. DeBerg to Hurd, out of bounds at the Cleveland 42.
Lots been said about Steve DeBerg, but does he have poise and is he tough? Steve DeBerg held that ball to the last second, knowing his receiver would get there. Now you see Perry being doubled by the center and the guard, Lutz, and they're doing a good job, but still he's getting penetration. But DeBerg holds that ball, and then until he knows he can get his completion.
Get some of the yardage back from the penalty. It's 3rd and a long 9, closer to 10.
Right now, Kansas City appears to be holding their own in a battle of attrition for field position. Right now, they've already got the ball now on the other side of the 50-yard line.
DeBerg, is he hit? Shooting through is Bubba Baker, the veteran defensive end. And some of his fraternity brothers from Colorado State and Bubba Phi Bubba would have cheered that move.
Well, DeBerg just waited too long that time. Just waited too long. Bubba Baker's going to come from the left of the screen, up inside of Eatman. Up inside of him. Here he comes. But he gets there very late. DeBerg had that ball at least 4 seconds without throwing it.
That was good defense downfield. That was a coverage sack. Goodburn yet to get off a good punt. Will try for the 4th time with Cube McNeil back at the Cleveland 8. This one's the best of the 4, and it's McNeil at the 13. Gets away from Copeland, and then he fumbles the ball in Cleveland. Well, they're going to call it down. They're not going to call it a fumble, but into the end zone goes James Saxon. And, that looked like the fumble was forced by the hit and not the ground, but the official on the spot makes the call. It's still Cleveland's ball, and what a hit.
What a great hit from downfield. Good contain right there to slow him up, but look at that hit from the side. Great job of covering a punt. Again, the Chiefs are holding their own in this battle of attrition, and with these great defenses, that's all you're going to have is a battle of attrition between 2 really enthusiastic and committed football teams.
Stay with us for the second half of our doubleheader. The Raiders and the Oilers in Houston and Seattle trying to gather itself together against the tough Giants at the Meadowlands. From the 16-yard line, Bernie Kosar in this scoreless game. Out of the backfield to Metcalf, and he's covered well. Albert Lewis from the corner makes the tackle.
Lewis sitting in his zone. Metcalf comes out. Lewis spots it and just moves right out of his zone to the ball when it's thrown.
A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player at the conclusion of today's game. Less than 3 minutes to go. No score. Cleveland had the best chance, but a Tim Manoa fumble when Lloyd Burris, the veteran safety, stole the ball from the Cleveland fullback, denied the only serious scoring threat of this half. 2nd and 9 for Kosar. To Metcalf. Skips out of one tackle, and then he's wrapped up.
Derrick Thomas met the blocker and then sprinted down the line of scrimmage with Metcalf. He showed as much speed and acceleration as Metcalf did. You'll see him come up inside, meet his blocker right here. Now he's going to come down the line. It's a foot race. And when Metcalf has to finally make a move at the sideline, Derrick Thomas is there waiting for him.
So Metcalf gains only 3 when it appeared he would get much more. Metcalf 6 carries, 16 yards. down to the 2-minute timeout. Boy, we're looking at quite a defensive player in Derrick Thomas, and a man who has given Cleveland fans plenty of thrills already in Eric Metcalf. 2 minutes to go in this scoreless first half. Recovering from that Achilles surgery, but in full form next weekend on NBC as you are updated on the scores. Here, nothing to show, and neither team scored a touchdown when they met last year. A battle of field goals won by Cleveland 6-3.
Well, there are those that are critical of the Chiefs in quote blowing games, but the transition of the Chiefs in just 1 year to be this competitive, especially defensively, it demonstrates an excellent job of coaching.
On third down, the pass is to Manoa. Smith trying to get to him, and it's going to be close to a first down. They mark him out of bounds at the 26-yard line. I believe just shy of a first down. Derrick Thomas again after Kozar. Here he comes.
Well, again, he's in position to make a play on a screen, leaping up over the top of it, making it tough. I think he got just a piece of that ball because the screen
Michael
looked
Jordan
better.
Move.
Right. That's just how I thought I was at 16 years of age.
Let's see, how close is it? Not quite, by about a link of the chain. Fourth down. And Bud Carson in a scoreless game with 1:53 to go. Will he gamble here? That would be a surprise if he does.
Not a chance.
Now here comes the punting team. So Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs will get a final chance with 1:53 to go in this half. The Chiefs, by the way, I mean, to show how tough they've been, and they lost by 3 to the #1 team in the AFC West, Denver, last week. They have not allowed a touchdown in 11 quarters, if you count this one. 11 quarters without relinquishing a touchdown. It's been their own offense and the return yardage that has killed them. 7 return touchdowns.
Eligible, 51.
Both teams have excellent character. They've developed it. To be honest with you, I think Marty Schottenheimer's reflection is in both teams. First with Cleveland in developing that team and processing it through Ernie Accorsi and other people in developing talent, and now with the Chiefs. There's character demonstrated on both sides today.
Bad snap, and Wagner, good hands and a good kick. Boy, Wagner saved disaster all the way to the 26 to Naz Worthen. And Worthen is hit by Waiters at the 33. And we got a little push and shove back near the spot of the kick.
A lot of intensity out there.
Boy, those kickers have to have good feet and good hands, and Wagner, who punted at Cal State Northridge with a Fighting Matador, is able to put the cape on that one and deal a 49-yard punt.
Well, he didn't lose his timing. The ball came, and he still timed out his steps to punt the ball, even though it bounced to him.
Kansas City now with their 5th possession, their first 4 resulting in punts.
Well, they're going to have to be somewhat cautious here. One bad mistake at this spot on the field with just this little time remaining will give Cleveland 3 points.
But they have to be thinking with 3 timeouts left to try to get some points of their own. A little draw to McNair. He's got some running room. Todd McNair, and a good open field tackle by Frank Minifield.
Excellent tackle. McNair should have cut back up inside. He went to that sideline. They've got 3 timeouts. He should have gotten all he could out of it.
He got 5.
An interception here would really do the Chiefs in. So DeBerg's got to be very careful.
Underneath has a first down as he hits McNair, who has caught 22 coming in, second on the club. Still no timeout. 1:05 left in the half. 3 timeouts still show for Kansas City from the 45 of the Chiefs. DeBerg throws it away. Clarence Weathers, the closest red jersey.
That was excellent push right up inside.
Carl Hairston.
He came out of college weighing 220 pounds. Talking with Carl Peterson, who was then at Philadelphia, a 220-pounder drafted late in the draft. Now has played, what is it, 14 years?
14 seasons. 36 years young is Big Daddy, who played at Maryland Eastern Shore. Drove drove the furniture truck after high school before he went to college. He appreciates the good fortunes of being an NFL player. DeBerg underneath, incomplete. Broken up as Emil Harry was hit by Felix Wright. And there's a man doesn't get his due attention in defense for Cleveland. Felix Wright. He leads them with 5 interceptions this year. Had 5 last season. Moved to safety, strong safety. Said at 195, I wasn't real keen on Bud Carson's idea, but he's learned to like it, and he'll switch, play a little free safety as well. Solid tackler, and he's a ball hawk.
Well, he's helped at both linebacker spots. Either Grayson or Van Waiters on one side and Matthews on the other.
3rd down and 10. Cleveland rushes 4, and DeBerg, a wobbly pass, intercepted. And it's Mark Harper out of bounds at the Kansas City. Let's see where they mark it. 44-yard line.
Well, that was the one thing they had to avoid. And it was a tipped pass that fell short on the inside, and he couldn't do much with it. But the ball was tipped right in this area, and it's hard to say who did it. But then it fell short, and there was an interception involved. And this is the one thing that DeBerg wanted to avoid. We wanted him to avoid, in a sense. There's the tip pass. There's the ball coming underneath.
Harper's 3rd interception. You can see he stepped out of bounds before the 44. They mark it at the 47-yard line as DeBerg intercepted for the 11th time this year. Now 41 seconds for Cleveland, and they have 2 timeouts left to try to take a lead before the intermission.
Steve DeBerg's problem in the past is he hasn't been mobile enough to move between pass rushers. Consequently, a lot of interception and batted balls.
Slaughter, the man to watch, top of your screen, but underneath he goes, and it's batted, and flags all over the lot. It was Leonard Griffin putting the charge on Kozar.
Well, thus far, both offenses have been shattered by excellent defensive line play, especially charging defensive linemen.
Well, charging too quickly were the Chiefs, and they'll pick up a 5-yard penalty. 36 seconds to go.
Well, the Chiefs have got themselves in a hole.
Defense, still first down.
Offensively, but their defense has been able to manage to hold people off. They can, in a sense, be fortunate to get out of this thing 0-0 at halftime.
This is a team it's tough to score against. The Chiefs, as we've mentioned, counting this quarter, 11 without allowing a touchdown. 1st and 5. Kozar has Manoa with him, 4 wide receivers. Cube McNeil in there along with Brian Brennan to join Langhorne and Slaughter, who it appeared Cleveland pulled back soon. Thrown for the Cube and thrown away. Albert Lewis. That was really a Mutt and Jeff duo with Cube McNeil at 5'7" and Albert Lewis, one of the taller cornerbacks in the league, and it was almost a full helmet above the man he was covering.
That was a surprising tactic that time by Kansas City. They went an all-out blitz. They brought everybody up inside, and Kozar read it, but he couldn't get his man McNeil open.
There's the man, one of the youngest in the league, to hold this defensive coordinating position, a former Browns assistant, now in Kansas City, Bill Power, who was a special teams linebacker player in his career.
32 years old.
Sometimes John Hunter says, I don't understand what he's doing, but boy, it's getting done. Over the middle and complete to the 34 to Webster Slaughter, who has his 4th catch of the half, his 45th of the year, as he moves over the 900-yard mark in receiving yards this year. Timeout.
It has arrived.
Browns into scoring position in the final seconds of this first half. No scoring thus far. And the Browns in first place in the Central Division, but feeling the pressure from the Houston Oilers and certainly recognizing the threat of Kansas City Bengals behind them.
Well, it'll be interesting here. The Chiefs blitzed twice in a row. The first time it worked very well. The second time it cost them a big gain and a possible field goal.
24 seconds left in this first half. The ball is at the 34.
They're backing out of there this time.
Kozar wheels and hits Brian Brennan, who takes it to the 22. Deron Cherry finishes the tackle. Chris Martin got a piece of the play. 12 more yards. Wonder why they're not calling a time. They've got 2 timeouts left. Kozar throws it away, and just in time, 2 seconds to go, as Neil Smith was applying pressure on the quarterback. And here comes the field goal unit in, and veteran Matt Barr will try to get Cleveland on the board.
The timeout. Why not a timeout? But on that field, I guess you can just lose track. You can get so involved in the game that the very simplest of things can get by you.
Now the line of scrimmage to 23. Mike Pagel, the backup quarterback, will hold just outside the 30. So a 40-yard attempt by Barr, who's missed only 3 this year of 14. And he doesn't miss this one. End of the first half. And Cleveland finally put some numbers on the board, as you saw Marty Schottenheimer come out onto the field to talk with referee Haggerty before going to the locker room. Marty not all that happy about what he's seen from the men in the striped jerseys this year.
Among the very best in football, and is sure demonstrating himself today.
Eric Metcalf, second in the league in kickoff returns, is back with Mike Oliphant, as Mick Lowry sends a high kick short to Metcalf at the 13. And the rookie with a flag down spins away from a couple of men and gets it to the 30, the 31. But I believe it'll be called back, a penalty against the Browns.
Well, if they can hold them here, Kansas City will get some field position.
Against the Cleveland Browns, it'll take the ball back near the 10, perhaps inside the 10-yard line, as you see Marty Schottenheimer, the younger brother of head coach or Kurt Schottenheimer, the younger brother of the coach Marty, and Marty has his son Brian here as well today.
Number 50 on the return, first down.
There's Brian, a sophomore in high school in Kansas City, a quarterback. Schottenheimer translates vaguely German to English, a home in the shadow. Well, for Marty, he's not exactly back home. He's in the shadows of the far sideline. Rare experience for him after 4.5 seasons on the near sideline. So from the 8-yard line, Cleveland begins. And Kozar
Going deep, Metcalf.
And too long. Coverage by Kevin Porter, number 27.
Well, they put Metcalf as a wide receiver to the outside and took a shot at him. He showed good speed, but it's very obvious when you put the man out there what's most likely to happen. They're going to try to get the ball down the field to him. Again, Metcalf hasn't made long downfield plays. He's excellent in a small area, but we've yet to see him spring for a big one.
Mike Oliphant in the backfield as Metcalf given a breather. Whoops, a fumble by Oliphant, and the Kansas City Chiefs have a touchdown. Neil Smith picks up the loose ball, and Kansas City has scored. Oliphant had trouble with a handoff, never complete control, and then with a collision, the ball right there for the Chiefs, and a quick score.
Well, they pulled Metcalf out of the game after going deep, played Oliphant, who's played very, very little this year, coming in cold, didn't take the handoff properly, never had control of the ball. So that cost you. And those great defenses, that 7 points could stand up the way these teams play defense.
Neil Smith says, I'm not giving up this pumpkin. That's one's going to go in my trophy case. Touchdown for Smith, was the #1 pick out of Nebraska a year ago. Nick Lowry to try the point after. He's kicked 192 in a row. And hits this one, and the Chiefs strike on the turnover, something that has bitten them the last couple of weeks in losses. Kansas City has seen the other team pick up the loose ball and get a score. This time it's a 3-yard run by Neil Smith.
Well, actually, Chris Martin was the one that caused that, although Oliphant never really had the ball. I'm not sure he might not have dropped it had no one hit him. He never really got the handoff, but right here, you're going to see a man come unclean, and Oliphant was trying to find the ball and meet someone like Martin coming in from that angle. He had no way to protect himself or the ball. Again, these great defenses, it's a battle of attrition in a sense. They wear each other down and play on the breaks. The first break of the game that made any difference came when Steve DeBerg threw that tipped interception just before the half. And we talked about what could go wrong rather than what could go right for Kansas City. And so the interception cost them 3. And here's putting Oliphant in the game with Metcalf having run deep, and apparently they thought he might be winded, and Oliphant cost him because he hasn't played that much football this year.
So 21 seconds into the second half, and appropriately in this defensive struggle, the defense scores the first touchdown of the game, 7-3. And now Lowry to kick it as Metcalf standing just inside the 10-yard line, and a dangerous man on the return.
Well, there isn't any real wind of consequence. Consequently, Kozar can throw the ball, one of the great passers in the game with those fine receivers. So Kansas City still going to have some problems.
Metcalf gets across the 25-yard line. Tackle made by Tommy Agee, and a flag is down.
Now, if you'll see, just watch right here to see that handoff. See how the ball right initially was lost. It's lost right there. He never does really have a grip on that thing, and that cost him 7 points. I'm sure that Bud Carson's going to ask about why Oliphant was in the game at that point on that spot on the field and carrying the ball the first time he went in the game.
Van Water's guilty of a hold on the kickoff return, so Cleveland self-destructing a bit early here in the second half. Will start from the 16. Manoa and Metcalf behind Kozar. Manoa gets to the 20 and uses his power to fall forward for another yard. 240-pound fullback.
Well, it was a prophecy. It could have been a prophecy. Bud Carson remarking the key is he did not want Schottenheimer's team to control the ball with Okoye. He's handled that. But also the turnover factor would be the key with these great defenses, and thus far all scoring has been on turnover.
And Kansas City, who has been in the minus column, leads 2-1 in that regard today. Metcalf ripped down at the 25-yard line, and good pursuit by Dino Hackett, who played at Appalachian State.
Excellent blocking by the Cleveland offensive line. Excellent blocking all the way across the front. And it took Dino Hackett to pursue from the backside of the play. You see Manoa making a block right here. Good job. There comes Dino Hackett from the backside linebacking spot. Good, clean tackle.
3rd and 1 for Cleveland. Ozzie Newsome has got a pass today in motion, and it's Metcalf caught in the backfield. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage as Dan Saliamua and Neil Smith collaborate on the tackle.
Saliamua, excellent player, a good, solid performer. And Marty Schottenheimer said, watch him. Even though he lost Moss, a Pro Bowl player, Saliamua makes things happen with that quickness. There it is.
He said by far the best of his Plan B free agent picks was Saliamua, who labored in reserve with the Lions a couple of years and really starring now and had the chance to show his stuff. He played his college ball at Arizona State. Wagner, another low snap, and he gets it away. Boy, he has saved 2 big problems for Cleveland. Gets it out to the 47-yard line, as twice now the snap broke.
What a job.
Tom Baugh, an ex-Kansas City Chief. Baugh having trouble.
What a great job handling this. The ball bounces. He takes his eye off for a second, kicks it. Still has got the instinct to get that ball off.
Fortunately, the Chiefs had a return on. Timeout, Kansas City, and Cleveland field puts it position.
There is a point at which all things must evolve.
Chiefs on a 24-yard punt, but Wagner saved problems by getting it away. Start at the Cleveland 48, leading 7-3. 12.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Okoye, this will be about his longest run of the day as he gets out to the 41-yard line of the Browns and a gain of 7.
Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, did an excellent job on Clay Matthews that time, and Clay being a Pro Bowl football player, Hayes just sustained his block. Okoye hit that thing at full bore. Well, that's the first time he's really demonstrated that explosiveness. The first time he's had a chance.
2nd and 3. Okoye years ago. Didn't know what a football was.
Probably the same play, same formation. There it is again.
And Tom Gibson read it well and drops Okoye for a loss at the 44.
Gibson's been playing, hasn't he, Dick? He's really had an impact on this game.
That's the third tackle he's made behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, Eatman is going to have a chance to block Gibson right here. They repeated the play, which sounds good, but Eatman jumps for position, and Gibson comes right up underneath. That's the one thing he can't do is jump out there for position.
3rd down 5.
Okoye might have re-injured himself there, huh, Dick? Looked like he was slumping a little bit.
DeBerg in the shotgun. For the sidelines, oh my. Mark Harper almost had his second steal, intended for Emil Harry, and the punting team comes on.
That ball was thrown on an out break to Harry, and he was covered underneath, which is deadly. That ball, you get underneath that out throw, and it's 6 points. You see, just underneath that throw, Harper was right there.
Good burn to punt. And DeBerg happy that that one wasn't picked off. Gerald McNeil gets to the outside, and then Rob McGovern, number 50, makes the tackle. And the fans wanted a late hit. Well, Cleveland has it back. Timeout. Kansas City 7, the Browns 3. Cincinnati scored 3 touchdowns in less than 2.5 minutes in the second quarter to open that lead against the Lions. San Diego by 1. Miami scored in the final play of the first half to cut Dallas's lead to 4. Buffalo still in front of New England. Tampa Bay still leading the Bears. And stay tuned. Seattle and the Giants, many of you will see. And Houston and the Raiders to follow on the second game of our NBC doubleheader. Bernie Kosar goes to work and hits Reggie Langhorne, and the flag goes down. Kevin Ross makes the tackle of Langhorne.
Ross is tough, right on the spot.
Face mask against Kansas City.
Kevin Ross, Slaughter believes Kevin Ross is the best cornerback he's ever faced. That's how much respect that Cleveland has for Ross, as well as his teammates.
He plays corner like a safety, doesn't he? He's so strong. Good tackler.
Derrick Thomas sort of follows his lead as to the approach to the game in the NFL. Derrick Thomas says that Ross plays every play like it's the last play he's ever going to play. Just so intense.
Yeah, we talk a lot of things about Derrick Thomas and superlatives. One of the things already that's caught everyone's eye, here's a rookie that he watched how Duran Cherry studies film, and Albert Lewis.
Face mask, defense, still 1st and 5.
And Thomas on his own went out and bought one of those portable videotape machines so that he could study on a plane the films or the tapes of a game so that he could already start improving for next week's game. That's a rookie thinking like a wise veteran.
It sure is. And the atmosphere on the Chiefs team is so positive that people are doing those kinds of things now that they never thought of doing before.
1st down and 5 for the Browns. They take the penalty. Metcalf, a little opposite action, goes across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Sally Amua in on the tackle again.
Sally Amua so quick in front of a slower center like Rakosi that he's making him miss by jumping around him. It's really tough to handle in there.
He's only 6 feet tall, weighs 285, and yet has linebacker quickness. He made an interception 15 yards downfield as he drifted off the line of scrimmage last week against Elwood. 2nd down 3.
Look for the play pass here.
Metcalf, 1st down and more. darting out to the 33.
He's about as nimble and quick and darting as you'll find.
And the nice thing about Metcalf is he doesn't fumble. I mean, he hasn't fumbled all year.
Yeah, with that size, you'd think they'd jar it loose. Now, here's Thomas coming up the field. And Manoah's going to have a shot at him and knocks him back out of there this time. Thomas wanted to come off that block, but Manoah has so much speed buildup that he's decked him.
11 yards for Metcalf and a first down for Cleveland, trailing 7-3. 9:39 left in the third. Goes on maybe changing plays.
They had 10 men on the field.
And Manoah, is he? It stays on his feet, bouncing like a pinball, 240 pounds at that. And Kevin Ross puts the final touch. He had the tilder.
Kansas City had 10 men on the field, and they flew a guy in at the last second.
Number 95, Bruce Clark.
You'll see, here's a man coming on the field to play football and just gets there in the nick of time.
And
in fact, they finally see him to block him.
Bruce Clark, the veteran from Penn State.
It was a special defense for Bruce to sort of get your momentum build up from the sideline.
They give you a better charge.
You're on a 5 flat when you hit the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10. That ball caught? No, incomplete. Nice try, however, by Ozzie Newsome, the veteran tight end. Chris Martin, 57, the linebacker, in front diving, and Kevin Ross also on the coverage.
You know, we've been talking about Derrick Thomas, but Chris Martin's a very similar kind of athlete. He's sort of a sneaky, quick athlete that avoids blockers, that's on the spot all the time. And they thought so much of him that he would be a Pro Bowl category outside linebacker, but then they get a Derrick Thomas. So those two people have got that great quickness outside.
And Marty talks about Martin's 6-inch hitting punch. He strikes from such a short distance with so much power, much like a big hitting fighter. Kozar going long and has Slaughter open. Incomplete as Lloyd Burris came over at the last minute to get a piece of it.
Kevin Ross stumbled about halfway down the field. Both of them were battling down the field, and Ross is the guy that lost his balance that time. That was the big break that Cleveland needed right here. You see him coming up the field, and Ross loses his balance right there. Now there's the big play. We're within inches of it.
Well, actually, it appears Slaughter should have had it. Burris did not get a piece of it.
Burris probably just distracted him enough.
You saw that stutter step. That's one of Slaughter's favorite, little stutter step, and then he put a little head bob on Ross to finish him off. Wagner, who has been playing the punting position like a shortstop, gets a high snap, and he just gets this one away. No flag. Yes, a flag is down, so there'll be a penalty against Kansas City as Worthen gets it to the 38. But Wagner drew roughing the kicker.
Well, no question they were out to block that punt. If they'd have touched the ball in any way, there couldn't have been a flag.
And Marty Schottenheimer not at all unhappy with the fact that they came very close to the block, and not a bad time to put some pressure on Wagner with all the bad snaps.
One more bad snap, and they'd get 3 points or 6 points out of it.
Matt Haggerty.
Running into the kicker on the defense.
That's not an automatic first down, running into the kicker, so they'll have to punt it again.
Just 5 yards. At one point, that was an automatic first down. You see people coming up the field unblocked right there. Very tight.
Jonathan Hayes, 85, and then the Albert Lewis makes a little contact, and that's the running into the kicker. A 5-yard penalty that'll bring up 4th down and 5.
Well acted out in a sense.
Well, he picked up a penalty against Seattle last week.
Right.
That was critical in Cleveland's victory against the Seahawks up in the Northwest. So Wagner again with Naz Worthen back at his 25.
It looks like it's going to take a break for Cleveland to get on the scoreboard, or Kansas City again. It's going to take a break of some kind.
Short kick, Worthen on the run. 35, good move, and toppled hard at the 37-yard line. Keith Jones, the running back, number 26, with a tackle. Timeout. 9 minutes to go, third quarter. show. I mean, those guys could really steal the thunder. Scoreboard. Chris Barr with a field goal. Chargers open up a 4-point lead. Much scoring today as Winter will take a bite out of some offenses. Dalton Hilliard, a touchdown run for New Orleans to tie the Falcons. They're at 7-3. Kansas City on a short fumble return for a touchdown. DeBerg off play action gets it to Saxon, and a flag is down.
That was beautifully defense by Cleveland. That bootleg play, and that's what they were looking for.
And a penalty against Kansas City.
In preparing for this game, Cleveland felt, Bud Carson felt that the bootleg was a single pass Kansas City had out of that formation. And they just jumped on that crossing tight end, jumped on the fullback, nowhere to throw the ball.
Holding, offense, defensive face mask, defense. Decline, we'll play it over.
So, 1st and 10. Back it comes to the 38-yard line.
The play selection is going to have to be very, very nifty right here, because Kansas City needs to get field position. They're playing against a great defense.
Here's Mike Webster, 53. He said, hey, Michael Dean, come back
Wait
here.
a minute. There's the face mask.
Clay Matthews. Okoye.
Boy, those are tough yards.
They have defensed him extremely well. Robert Banks and Al Baker in on the tackle.
Now, we talked before, as the game progressed early, that he always falls forward. He's not even doing that. They are stuffing him. It's just an excellent defense. Both clubs right now, Cleveland has 109 yards of offense, Kansas City 79. Neither team is denting the other one.
29 yards for Okoye on a dozen carries. 2nd and 8. Going downfield, and wide open was Stephon Page, but the pass too long as he had slipped behind Minifield.
They had set that up. The out and up pattern. Excellent pattern by Stephon. But what happens on an out and up dig? The receiver loses his speed. Now you see him start in on the slant and up. Now the receiver loses his speed. The quarterback can't gauge that speed very well, and often those passes are overthrown.
And of course, DeBerg not as sharp as he might be had he been quarterbacking the last month. Steve Pelor had taken over that job. In case you joined us late, Steve Pelor injured knee in the first half. 3rd and 8. Down the middle and complete. Clarence Weathers, who returns to Cleveland. They let him hang on that plan B, and Indianapolis took Weathers. He didn't make it with the Colts, and Marty Schottenheimer saw him on the waiver wire and brought him to Kansas City.
They're trying to get him off the field there. Very slow and moving. You can see Marty Schottenheimer trying to juice him up, get him going.
He wants to stay in there. I'm sure he would like to prove some things.
He'd like to be in there.
First down, Chiefs at the Browns 42. Leading 7-3. Good play action by DeBerg. Lots of time. Tipped, intercepted. Mike Johnson to the 50-yard line. David Grayson tipped the ball, and Mike Johnson with his 3rd interception.
Bubba Baker almost cost his team. I hope we've got a picture of that. Shoving DeBerg after the play was over from behind, and the referee standing there watching it. I can't believe it. If you'll take a look at DeBerg here after the throw, the interception. Now that ball is tipped underneath.
Johnson, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle.
But there was no reason for Baker to use those theatrics. It should have cost his team. It was after DeBerg, after the throw, hitting him from behind. Well, there's an excellent tip. DeBerg tried to throw a flat pass through a defender instead of over a defender.
You see just the top
there,
of
look
your
at
picture.
this. Look at that now. That's illegal. It's not a legal block. Why would he be able to do that?
They'll let that one go by.
They let it go by.
I got a sense that these are the things that used to get you upset as a coach. So trailing 7-3, Kozar takes over at the 50. And he goes long for Ozzie Newsome. Down at the 15, the coverage from Chris Morton, the linebacker with the tight end, along with Deron Cherry.
Newsome, what a great player over many, many years. What a great player. A stable, skilled player. And his abilities are eroding physically, but he still has that know-how.
But look at, he's just 4 catches away from passing Raymond Berry and only 6 away from moving ahead of Don Maynard in the number 4 spot all time. Well, you'll see Steve Largent, many of you, in the second half of our doubleheader. A great wide receiver, over 800 catches against the Giants. Kozar looking long again, has Newsome open, and he can't make the one-handed stab.
Just missing by inches. He wanted a zone defense that time, and he got it.
But Carson opening up that passing game a bit here in the third quarter, trailing 7-3, 7 minutes, 6 seconds left in the period.
One big completion, it'll sure help, because at least they can get 3 points and get within the final field goal to win the game.
Third down and 10 for Kozar, who's passed only 72 yards.
Well, early, right at the end of the half, Kansas City blitzed heavily in this situation twice. Looks like it could be. Here it comes again. Here they come.
And he's going on top for Tillman. What a catch! Nope, couldn't bring it in. He had it for a moment. The rookie Lawyer Tillman from Auburn, the number 2 pick of the Browns, and it appeared he had an acrobatic catch.
Darren Cherry did a great job of coming over from the safety spot. Albert Lewis, one of the best defenders in football, in beautiful outside in position, but watch Cherry come right up from the inside right there. That makes it a tough catch. You know, one's coming inside. There's no room outside.
Now 3 incompletes and out for Cleveland. As back comes Brian Wagner, who's had a busy day and certainly exciting one as he's fielded snaps off the ground. He survived a vicious punt rush, and this time sends a wobbler toward Wortham. It's a Cleveland roll inside the 15. Oh, coming up next, our NBC doubleheader. Many of you will see the Houston Oilers, Warren Moon and company, against Bo Jackson and the Raiders, and it'll be Steve Largent in Seattle against that defense led by Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. And then Bill and I will be in Pontiac, Michigan, the Silverdome. You'll see these Cleveland Browns against the Detroit Lions, 12 o'clock for NFL Live on Turkey Day. We hope you'll enjoy the day's action with us. And there's the quartet that will that's the Christmas picture, I understand.
Yeah, a little waiting for a Christmas carol out of that group. We'll get one.
Okoye getting a little running room daylight. That had to be a rare experience for him today as he's out to the 20-yard line, and a good pickup on first down of 6.
Well, if Okoye is going to make yards, it should start right about now as the defense tires just a little bit, and he gets a chance to bust up through there.
David Grayson is down. He's the man making the tackle and was injured last week. Did not play in Seattle. Had a neck injury. And that's one of the things that Bud Carson commented upon to us this week, Bill, that, and you know so well, that to be a division winner and get into the playoffs, you have to be injury lucky. And the Browns, basically, especially on defense, have only missed a couple of starters for a couple of games. Grayson missing last week was a rare exception to the all healthy rule.
Well, that's a big factor. It's almost problematical that you'll have some injuries, but some teams can be just wiped out, as the Patriots were this year.
Cincinnati's had its share. Dr. John Bergfeld and trainer Bill Tensendorf making sure that Grayson's okay.
Now, Grayson was with the 49ers. We drafted him from Fresno State. But to be honest with you, he did have a history of injury. He hits with his helmet. into the side of Okoye, and that's a tough, that's a pretty solid object you're running into.
And many people feel, well, that helmet is protection. It's also become a hazard. That the old days, you wouldn't have put your head in there quite that way. You'd have hit him with a shoulder or some arms.
I'd have waited for him to go by.
Then hit him in the heels. Second and short. Okoye doesn't get anywhere. Count the number of helmets on Okoye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. 6 people on the tackle. But of course, they're telegraphing the play with that formation. There isn't anywhere else the ball can go but to Okoye there. An excellent job of reversing out on that play. Excellent job of reversing out and coming out underneath it by Perry.
Robert Banks, 97, Plan B from Houston. But Carson liked his aggressive style. Played at Notre Dame, did Banks. The Irish a step away, Miami, and then on to the Orange Bowl, apparently, against Colorado. DeBerg drills it incomplete into traffic. Intended for Stephon Page, and the Chiefs will have to punt.
Boy, those are tough pass patterns to complete against that tight coverage. That time they blitzed with Clay Matthews coming up inside, almost getting there. These are tough defenses.
5 minutes, 32 seconds left in this third quarter. It seems this period has taken as long as the entire first half. 7-3. Kansas City on a 3-yard run with a fumble by defensive end Neil Smith.
Well, this will be the key. Any kind of a return here, and Kozar's going to have a lot of edge on the defense because he'll be close enough to throw.
Goodburn gets his best kick of the day, a high spiral. McNeil at his 33, 40, 50, and out of bounds at the Kansas City 49. So the Browns indeed excellent field position. Timeout. 5:27 left in the third. The giant horseshoe home of the Cleveland Browns. Nearly 80,000 sold out, as it will be for the rest of the year. And how these fans love and know their football. And they could care less about the snow on the ground and the fact that winter apparently is here. Kozar on first down from the Kansas City 48, and Metcalf loses a yard as Derrick Thomas and Lloyd Burris.
Lloyd Burris supported from the inside out, so to speak, as a strong safety. He attacked that play before Metcalf could even get going. What a group of defensive backs this Kansas City team has, obviously as well as the Cleveland team, but what an elite group of defensive backs on the field today on both teams.
Yeah, these are really Pro Bowlers. You could have a pretty good Pro Bowl team with the picks of these 8. Second and 11. Slaughter on the near side and Langhorne in motion. Fake to Metcalf. Sidearm to Langhorne, and it doesn't get much as Kevin Ross comes up with another good, tough, high tackle.
Thomas was all over Kozar. He couldn't throw an accurate ball. Only one person he had a chance to throw to. He's coming off that corner so hard that there isn't any room for error on offense.
Watch 58 Thomas.
He's going to come right. He knows just what to do. Watch, he sees Kozar, and now he just goes right after him, make it so tough. So he not only defended against the pass, but then he put pressure on the passer. This is a key.
Down and 8.
They've got to get it going right here. First, if anybody can do it, Kozar can with that group of receivers. Blitz again.
And a throw to this side to Brennan. Ryan Brennan. It appears he has a first down at the 38-yard line. J.C. Pearson, the defender, along with Albert Lewis.
Brennan is a key third down receiver, and they're alternating him here more and more against these tight pass coverages because he's very quick underneath. Now you see, we can't see him here, but we see good pass protection against it. But look at the timing of that. He pushes straight up the field, and then J.C. Pearson is right on top of him, but Brennan comes back for the ball.
First down at the 38, trailing 7-3 late in the third quarter. Metcalf tries the middle and gets to the 31. Good pickup on first down of about 7.
Looks like Ted Banker was hurting a little bit there. He's up.
Metcalf, who leads the Browns with 442 yards coming in, and second in catches with 34, and second in the league in kickoff returns. So he has been a worthy #1 draft pick. And they feel that when Kevin Mack gets back in playing shape, Metcalf will improve tremendously just by Mack's presence. A better ball carrier than Manoa.
That sweep cut off beautifully.
And Metcalf somehow staying on his feet.
Again, Burris is right in the middle of that sweep. Apparently he sees that tight end block and he flies up into that line of scrimmage, and he's so aggressive. He took on a guard that time. He had Banker trying to block him. He just cut Banker down and cut everything off.
And Derrick Thomas there to finish the job. Brings up third down. That was a big play. That's 2nd and 3. They didn't need much, but they lost a couple. So now 3rd down and 5. Kozar, he doesn't like the shotgun. He'd rather work from under center, but in this situation,
they're blitzing again. There's that screen.
Manoa. Here's the first down. He might go all the way. Down at the 1-yard line.
Well, he finally caught the blitz just right. Kansas City's been blitzing at that spot all day, and they're running a screen pattern to the outside. You'll see number 63 right here making the key block. Both of the guards are outside with Manoa. Now look at his power. He's just determined. He can't get the ball loose. He's trying to get a fumble out of it.
Albert Lewis got him down at the 1-yard line. A gain of 32 yards. That's the longest offensive play of the game by either team. And Metcalf fumbles, and Kansas City has it. It could be a... Well, let's see now. Was he over? They're saying touchdown Cleveland. The fumble was after he had crossed the goal line. Now, we were talking about Eric Metcalf not fumbling this year. Oh, that could have been a terrible moment for Cleveland had he picked that spot, but he was across the plane when he lost the ball.
He's going to be way up over the top, diving. He's holding the ball over the goal. Ooh, that is close. That is so close.
Barr adds the extra point, and Cleveland back in front, 10-7 on a 1-yard dive by Metcalf, and that's all he got was a yard before the fumble.
Let's try to see another look at it. Now he's in the air with the ball extended. He is right on top of that goal line. If he broke the plane, it was by an inch, by the nose of the ball.
And that nose just did tickle the goal line for the score. So the screen pass from Kozar to Manoa of 32 yards sets up Metcalf's 8th touchdown of the season. McNeil's 20-yard punt return started that drive.
Well, he caught that blitz for the 7th or 8th time when Cleveland's had the ball on that spot on the field with those receivers, the 4 receivers. Kansas City's blitzed heavily, and that time they had a screen developed for it. It's about the only way to break that blitz, and they did it beautifully.
And that is the first touchdown the defense of Kansas City has allowed in almost 10 full quarters, and the first running touchdown against Kansas City in nearly 15 quarters.
Well, we'll have a preview or a look at the play again, where linemen will be coming out and picking up people, and they just did an excellent job of hitting the screen just at the right moment.
48 yards, 7 plays. Metcalf gets the tally from a yard out. And with 1:24 left in the 3rd quarter, Brian Wagner will kick it off. Copeland and Worthen are back for Kansas City. Good kick. Copeland at the 8. And tripped up. Mike Oliphant, who has great speed downfield to make the tackle.
The big screen where you'll see both of these linemen come out and block a fast screen with Manoa And it looks as though Burris is the coverage man. He wants to fake a blitz, then he's going to have to come out and cover. So you see Burris come up inside, now coming out to cover, but he's got two linemen in the way. There's one block, there's another block, and now it's that strength of running for Manoa in the open field.
Ron Sherry, usually a very sure open field tackler, couldn't bring him down. Kansas City starts from the 21. And they go to Herman Hurd. He's got some running room. 40. And he's all the way to the 49 and almost the 50-yard line. So Marty Schottenheimer, realizing the way that Cleveland's Bud Carson has defensed the big back Okoye, goes to the smaller speedster in Hurd and tries the outside and picks up 29 yards.
That's the first run today that's actually been executed well enough to break a back. He broke Hurd on that one clean, so he had some running room.
Hurd's longest run of the season, 17, the longest prior for him. Trailing 10-7 with a minute plus to go in the third. Hurd again. And they try to steal the ball. Hurd gets 3. Mike Johnson had his arms around the ball for a moment trying to rip it away. Robert Banks and Michael Dean Perry finished the job. There's Mike Johnson. Played at Virginia Tech. He was one of those that came out of the U.S. Football League and now a star in the NFL. Academic All-America. He played for Jim Mora and Carl Peterson. Peterson now the general manager of the Chiefs, were the Stars, who were the team of the USFL in their 3 seasons. Hurd again. Gets outside and inside the 40 of Cleveland, a first down at the 39. Johnson made the tackle.
Blocking downfield. Stephon Page is proud of his blocking ability. He likes to think that's the difference between his game and other receivers. He did a great job of blocking the support man that time. That's why Hurd suddenly broke for 5 extra yards.
And the final seconds tick away in the third quarter. That started with a Neil Smith 3-yard run with a fumble to give Kansas City the lead 7-3. And we've seen Eric Metcalf, 1-yard dive for the score. It's 10-7. Now, meanwhile, Kansas City has changed strategies, it appears, and Marty Schottenheimer going with the quicker backs now.
Well, he needs a little quickness. Okoye was using his strength, and there wasn't any running room for him. So now people missed to an extent. But this is Kansas City's chance right here. If they're going to do it, they'll probably never get this field position again. So they've got to make this all pay off.
First down from the 39 of Cleveland as we open the fourth quarter. Browns lead 10-7. Hurd again. Burrowing.
That is so tough in.
Let's check the other scores. Cincinnati now overpowering the Lions. San Diego back in front of Pittsburgh. Buffalo finding a fight from the Patriots.
San Diego,
Atlanta seesawing. Tampa Bay holding on to a 3-point lead. Neil Anderson had a long run over 50 yards for a touchdown. He might capture the NFL rushing lead over Okoye. He's having a big game for Chicago. Hurd caught in the backfield. Van Waiters for the injured David Grayson, the former Indiana star.
Well, Van Waiters had to have beaten Hayes that time, the tight end, with his block, because he came underneath Hayes, it appeared, and made his big play. You see him come underneath right there. So there had to be some kind of a mix-up or something, because he was just unblocked. What a big play. Now it's really tough for DeBerg at this point. They're going to put the heat on him up front. He's going to have to make one big play if he can pull his team out.
Weathers and Page to the right. Manley to the left side. And underneath, incomplete to Weathers. He had to hurry because Tom Gibson was putting on the heat. Number 71.
Gibson was not blocked. There was a last-minute blitz by Gash, and Gibson was unblocked. So Gash blitzed inside as a safety, which forced Eatman to go in to block him. That left Gibson totally unblocked on the outside. They had a man open, but DeBerg couldn't get him the ball.
20-yard punt return by McNeil on the last kick set up the Browns drive to a touchdown. McNeil, he fields it at the 5-yard line. And he gets it back out to the 11, the 12. Lewis Cooper, number 55, the tackler, along with Stan Petrie. Reminder tonight, the Sunday lineup here on NBC, The Magical World of Disney presents Parent Trap Hawaiian Honeymoon, followed by the family comedy Sister Kate and My Two Dads. Then Raymond Burr back in an all-new Perry Mason mystery movie, The Case of the All-Star Assassin. World premiere movie tonight on NBC.
Well, Bud Carson's linebackers have been outstanding in this game. And he felt, as he's indicated to you, Dick, they're the best 3 linebackers he's seen since he coached Pittsburgh way back in the early 70s with that great group they had.
And he still has that Pittsburgh Super Bowl ring on. First Super Bowl win for the Steelers when the defense was so critical. Manoa stacked up. Walker Lee Ashley was there first, and Derrick Thomas got a piece of the play, as did middle linebacker Dino Hackett. Manoa, who grew up in Hawaii and then as a high schooler moved to Pittsburgh, lived with friends of the family so he could get his high school education here on the mainland, and then was recruited by Joe Paterno at Penn State. He has to send the tapes of his games to Tonga for his father. There's only one satellite dish, and that's the King of Tonga.
The King of Tonga.
He gets to watch it live, and our best goes to the King today. Stay tuned for the second half of our doubleheader. Manoa again. Skips out of one tackle, and then coming up briskly from the secondary was Kevin Porter.
I'll tell you, that Kansas City team supports. Porter came up there like a shot.
That'll bring third down at about 5 for Cleveland, leading 10-7 with 12:28 left in the game.
You know, there's some sports writers in Kansas City that have been rather critical of Marty Schottenheimer because they can't see tangible results in their eyes as to what's happening. But look at this defense. Look how they're playing the game. They need a couple of superstar category players to finally win a Super Bowl, but they're really a credible team right now.
Second in the league, Cleveland is third, and Cleveland best in allowing points. They've only allowed a 150, and Langhorne had first down yardage if he could hold on. But his diving try comes up empty. Kevin Ross on the coverage, and guess who was after Kozar?
Thomas is going to come up the field. Neil Smith was coming up the field. It's really tough to make that block right there. That was Paul Farron. He's had a tough day. He's really done a pretty decent job himself as a good, solid journeyman football player. But I tell you, he's got a superstar in front of him.
And to catch is Brian Wagner, his 7th punt. Boy, you get into this kind of weather, and it's defense, special teams become so important. Worthen is back. High kick, but very short. Worthen, a fair catch at the 48, and the horse almost pulled up too sharply. He was going to go right on his back. And we'll return after these messages from your local station. And dangerous to your canine health to bite on those cigars, though. 48-yard line, Kansas City. Fourth quarter, 12 minutes to go, and the Chiefs trail the Browns 10-7.
Gash is blitzing from the outside.
Pass. Intercepted. Felix Wright has his 6th of the year, and he's back to the 44-yard line. And James Saxon, a left-hander, he had a man behind Wright, but threw a little short, and Wright was there.
Well, Van Wader's got deep, real heat on him right outside here. So much heat that he had to throw the ball, just hope and take a chance with that throw.
And Wright alertly saw the play developing and sprinted over from his safety position to make the interception. And the Browns have been the team to force the mistakes of the opposition, the defense. Plus 14, leading the league coming in. Now it's Metcalf. And the little guy to the 49-yard line to pick up a 5 on first down. Neil Smith and Mike Bell with the tackle. Steve Pelor injured in the first half, but at least back on the sidelines and back on his feet, so that is a good sign.
But it's that team defense that makes a difference. You know, our initial years with the 49ers, we jumped right out offensively and moved from the bottom of the league right up near the top. But until we could play defense, we never could really be serious contenders. Both these teams have the defense to win.
Felix Wright, he has an inspirational story for those who think they're not good enough to make it in pro football. We'll share it with you when we get a chance today. 2nd down and 6. Manoa. Ooh, was he met by Derrick Thomas and Dino Hackett. It was Hackett.
Right.
Hackett.
Thomas broke down the blocking. It was a trap play. But Dino Hackett, when he makes contact, they go his way.
Played college baseball as a freshman at Appalachian State. And that's why he went there. He felt he could play 2 different sports. And then they got a new coach. Coach recruited him, said, yeah, you can play baseball as well as football. And changed coaches. And he said, that was the end of my baseball career. He was a center fielder. I bet he was a hitter.
Well, they probably didn't harass him too much from the stands.
3rd down and 6. Ozar going deep. Well covered Lewis, and he knocks it away from Lawyer Tillman. Boy, Albert Lewis, great position defensively.
Again, I say what an elite group of defensive backs on this field, just all over the field. They're making these plays, not only supporting a run, but look at the position Lewis is in. He times his jump just right. Just right.
Tillman, who is 6'5", but Lewis taller than 6'2", call him the thoroughbred.
Tillman went up and Lewis waited, then he went up just at the right instant.
So another punt, the 15th of this game. Wagner, and there's a honey. Woo! Wortham at the 10. And who is he met sharply at the 15?
Great coverage.
Van Waiters and Tom Baugh with the tackle. Timeout. My idea of real recreation, put on your swimming suit, get out there, take a nice little boat ride.
Wow.
Herman Hurd taking the toss from DeBerg and gets only to the 16-yard line. Michael Dean Perry, 92. So quick at 6 feet and 280.
Well, at some point, an end around, a tight end around, or a reverse is probably a logical thing for Kansas City to come up with here, because Cleveland is pursuing just recklessly to the ball. And they can almost predict the Kansas City plays at this point. Run on 1st down.
2nd and 9. DeBerg. Incomplete. Hurd could not haul it in at the 22. Mike Johnson, the backer, was covering.
That might have been a 3-yard gain at best. Johnson was sitting right in there waiting for it.
Going through the shopping list is the offensive coordinator Pendry, Ron Jaworski. Not in uniform, mind you, so they only have Pelor and DeBerg, and Pelor injured in the first half.
Well, this is a special play. Look at all the time it's taken to call it, and then for DeBerg to call it. So it's got to be something they'd planned.
Todd McNair is the running back. The best of the receivers for Kansas City. He slipped through the line of scrimmage. The throw is underneath Emil Harry, and he has a 1st down at the 26-yard line. Flags are down. Mark Harper, 23, the tackler. Emil Harry played at Stanford, was a 4th-round pick of Atlanta, and was a point guard on the Stanford basketball. Team. He's telling me that some other used to make him wait up in the evenings to watch UCLA games. He's a big UCLA basketball fan.
23. Defense, decline, 1st down.
Well, he's the most skilled receiver from the standpoint of having a feel for the game in short. So when he goes into that game on 3rd down, he's the logical guy to get the ball. And he was very well covered that time. But he got his body between himself and the defender so he could make the catch.
There's a big third down play, DeBerg to Harry to keep this drive alive. Only a few chances left for both teams in this tightly played game. Only one offensive touchdown. DeBerg throws it away at the feet of his tight end, Alfredo Roberts.
They've been bringing Thane Gash, the safety, from either side. Now this time he's going to come from the weak side of the formation. It looks as though DeBerg has some kind of a screen pass. Now Gash is going to slip up and just blitz from here, and DeBerg's going to have to try to get rid of the ball. It looks as though there may be some kind of a screen pass developing, but no chance to do anything. Gash was right on top of him.
Well, both defenses are so well prepared. There just isn't much for the offense to take. Dominated by the men that don't have the ball. Whoops. Carl Hairston, 78, first into the backfield.
Encroachment, 78, defense.
Looks as though DeBerg yanked his helmet as he said that. Almost a head bob, very, very close to it. Got Hairston to move.
Now Cleveland, hungry for a Super Bowl chance. Hairston, of course, did play with the Eagles back in the '80 game when they lost to the Raiders. And Art Modell, the 64-year-old owner of the Cleveland Browns, now in his 29th season. He wants a chance to get to the Super Bowl, and that's why he wanted Schottenheimer to make some coaching changes. Just being in the playoffs, not enough. The Browns are one of only 4 of the original NFL teams, and they combined with the AFL, not to make it to a Super Bowl. Here's Okoye, and even on the draw, he can only get a few yards. Maybe 2 to the 34-yard line.
Well, you know, the changes that have been made by Art Modell have been the kind of thing that he thinks that will take him that one final step to a championship. Last year, it appears that he felt just one more step, improve that offense, improve the continuity of the offense, and Marty Schottenheimer would have a Super Bowl team. And Marty got a little stubborn,
and it's worked out well for both.
Right.
Kansas City has themselves a fine young coach in Schottenheimer, and Art Modell is very pleased with his choice. Bud Carson, who has taken what Schottenheimer left on the table and perhaps has even improved upon that. Timeout with 8:15 to go in the fourth. Cleveland up by 3 on Dallas, hoping that New England can rally against Buffalo and tie the Bills for first place. And Tampa Bay, Lars Tate has scored, and the Bucs are up by 10 in Chicago. 3rd and 3. Big play for the Chiefs after the timeout. McNair makes a good catch, fights for yardage. He's going to be close to a first down. No, he just got back to the yardsticks. No gain. Boy, that defense of the Browns leading the league in least points allowed, and they've given up only 7 today, and that was on a 3-yard fumble return.
Well, the Chiefs are shorthanded protection-wise. There's always an unblocked man, and DeBerg has to get rid of the ball quickly when they go to 4 wide receivers. There just aren't enough protectors to handle all the potential rushers.
Bad kick, short and low, and McNeil has a good chance to return and gets to the 45-yard line, and a flag is down, I believe.
Had a clip right at the end of the play, right in front of that Chief bench. Everybody's desperately trying to make something happen. There's too many fouls on these special teams, on these return teams.
28-yard punt by Goodburn. He's had a tough day. Illegal block in the back. And Marty Schottenheimer looked as if he was in that push along the sidelines as they went rumbling into the bench. And you got to be on your toes there. There have been more than one coach just
pushing it back. Number 40 on the return.
Wasn't Jerry Glanville ripped up his knee here last year?
I'll tell you, I took a shot last year as a coach that really. Oh, there it is. He gets him low, just like a full-speed block.
You got to charge into those blockers, Marty. Go after him.
His pads down. Well, I took a shot last year, Dick, in a Phoenix game that I didn't see the people coming.
Were they writers or
I'll never do this. 2 sports writers. 2 sports writers working the sideline.
First down, Cleveland after the penalty. Those are to Manoa. Manoah making some yardage when he was trapped in the backfield. Dino Hackett couldn't get him. Neil Smith finally got the tackle.
Hackett had him dead to rights, man-to-man coverage right on that screen, and Manoah just used enough movement and took advantage of Hackett's aggressiveness to make him miss.
Now, instead of a no gain or a loss, it's a gain of about 5. Bernie Kosar is 25 years young.
Well, you can see that the Kansas City defense when you see Kosar has 120 yards in 26 attempts.
They'll try to chew up the clock now with 7:22 left and leading 10-7. Metcalf. It fumbles, and Kansas City is recovered. Now, Metcalf had that ball ripped away as he hit it the line of scrimmage. Dino Hackett appeared to be the man that reached in, got a piece of him.
Well, they tried a trap with Metcalf hitting that thing full speed. You see the left guard pulling, and he's caught. He's caught by the trapping guard, and the defender made contact with him, and the ball got knocked loose.
Let's see. Derrick Thomas must have been around the ball. You can bet on that.
Going into the middle of it. There's the ball coming out.
And Thomas might have been the man who slapped it away, and Chris Martin was the man who recovered, number 57. So at the 39-yard line, another fumble recovery for Kansas City. The other, Neil Smith, a 3-yard run for a touchdown, and this one puts Kansas City in great field position at the 39. Okoye knocking his own blocker 3 yards forward. Mark Addix got a ride from behind. That reminds me of what Mike Webster was telling us yesterday. He was comparing as he blocked for the great Franco Harris in Pittsburgh, and now Okoye in Kansas City. And we asked him how were they alike. He said, well, their personalities were almost the same. Quiet, unassuming, gentlemen, you know, almost too humble. I said, well, how about their running styles? Oh, no, that's different. He said Franco was a thinker as a runner. Okoye is a thrasher. I can hear him coming. It gets really noisy. Second down and 6. Okoye again. Boy, they just aren't allowing him. He fumbled the ball. Was it after the whistle? He was down. He was down, says Haggerty. And so is Haggerty. Haggerty took an 8 count. And his efforts to gesture that the ball was dead, Haggerty himself got knocked to the turf.
Well, he had to have blown the whistle while they were all standing, because everybody was standing up when the ball came out.
Mike Johnson trying to rip
They're
it
all
away.
still standing up. There comes the ball. So they had to have blown the whistle. It's the only thing you could think of.
Haggerty gets leveled as well. Fans screaming. They want the instant replay. And they're all pointing up at the instant replay. This is a new world of sports, isn't it, where fans, 80,000 in a stadium, point to the television screens and want a decision to be made.
Well, if they say he was down, obviously it was a penalty. If the whistle had blown, then it wasn't a penalty.
The replay official, Grover Clemmer, today was his right knee down when the ball came out. Pat Haggerty seemed to be indicating that it was. That was his call. Now
Well,
watch
if it was
again.
the knee, I think we've got a fumble. Just depends on the whistle.
Is his knee?
No, it never was down. So that ball's out. It would have to be the whistle. But apparently not, because they're replaying.
If it were the whistle, then the Haggerty would say, no, it doesn't matter what the replay shows. The fans here in Cleveland are especially upset by that call because Tim Manoah lost the ball on a similar play where Lloyd Burris stole it from him down inside the 15-yard line earlier in the game. Well, Kansas City now looks at 3rd down and 8. DeBerg. What a play to Weathers. Is he inbounds? No, they say he didn't get both feet down. As DeBerg lofting the ball over the defense. Look at this throw just over Blaylock.
No, couldn't get it done. But what a tough job it is to play quarterback in this situation. Every time DeBerg wants to throw the ball, there's an unblocked man coming right up inside on him.
4th down and 8, and Kansas City will go for it.
Now that's surprising.
Steve Pelor, spectator.
Why would they do that, Dick? And I guess I am second guessing if they're going for it.
5:50 to go. You'd say kick it down, try to pin Cleveland deep.
You want to get them inside the 10-yard line and get the heat on them again. They know they've been stopping them, but here they'd lose field position if they don't make it. By the time Cleveland would punt, Kansas City wouldn't have time to move that far to make any points.
3rd and 4th and 8, they go for it. Blitz. And the catch is made for a first down. Oh, into heavy traffic to Pete Manley.
Somehow they got it done.
And a flag is down.
Well, it looked like the offensive lineman, the right tackle, Eatman, is sitting a full yard behind the center, which is illegal. Offside the other way.
And the 12-yard play will stand. In the heaviest of traffic, somehow DeBerg gets the ball into Manley for a first down.
Well, to start with, Eatman on the right is offside. Now it looked as though on our left side we get an offside, but it was so close.
And for Dixon, tough coverage. Marty Schottenheimer, he's helping that linesman to throw that flag for the offside.
I guess they say, was it Perry offside? I lost track of that.
That's what you call the old days a triple threader and a tailback. Marty Schottenheimer, he not only called the play, he threw the flag, and he was the cheerleader when he got the first down. Now that's a triple threat effort.
Well, they've got to be careful. They could lose their 3 points here to start with. They can't take a loss. DeBerg cannot take a loss here. There he's going to take it.
He almost threw it away. That was a little basketball pass to Alfredo Roberts, the tight end.
Well, Hanford Dixon blitzed from the weak side as a cornerback. In any kind of a play, you really don't account for that. And he was right in DeBerg's face. Again, DeBerg had to go to his left, being right-handed, and throw a ball. It was almost impossible.
You know, Bill, the more you watch this game, you have to appreciate what a defensive genius Bud Carson is, how well he's studied the film. What a game plan defensively.
Well, also Dan Radakovich, the defensive coordinator, is one of the sharp men in the game of football. This is tough.
Okoye, he's going to go back to Kansas City tonight thinking that he's got a white uniform on. He's been covered all day.
Well, anyone who worked with Dan Radakovich remark on what kind of a guy he is. He's one of those people that players just flock to. He's an interesting personality, a great detail coach, and he's done a great job along with Bud Carson and the rest of the defensive staff. Tony Dungy, the defensive backs, former coordinator at Pittsburgh. Tom Pratt, longtime assistant, Kansas City, among other places.
3rd and 9. Kansas City trails by 3 with 4:40 left. McNair. He pops after a yard gain. And here comes Nick Lowry for a long field goal attempt. Lowry has made 15 of 20 this year, his longest 50. But this under much tougher circumstances on a dirt soft field in cold weather, and as you've seen from the punters, the ball not flying very well. This will be a 41-yard attempt by Lowry.
We talk about playing defense. 3 downs, they can make 2 yards.
Steve Pelor is holding. This to tie. He's got it. And midpoint of the flight of that ball, it appeared it wanted to hook left and then changed its flight pattern, and we have a 10-all tie.
Absolute line drive.
41 yards for Lowry.
I was really surprised, weren't you, Dick?
Yeah.
I was surprised that some sports writers in Cleveland, a lot of them are very positive about Marty, and rightfully so, but some are just vicious with him. I don't totally understand that, because they look to me like one particular sports writer just used his own personal feelings about Marty to try to ridicule him. It's really hard to figure. But one way or the other, he handled it very well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's yesterday's newspaper, I guess.
And so did Bud Carson. You know, it's not easy on Carson either, because all the talk was about the other coach this week.
Right. Bud has handled himself beautifully in this job. He's very smooth with people. You note that he just has an easy way with people. The players appreciate that. I'm talking about Bud Carson now. The players appreciate his directness.
Lowry, a short run up and a fairly short kick. Metcalf is at his 16. And he's hit by Lewis Cooper at the 29-yard line. Cleveland has the ball, 3:40 to go, and Bernie Kosar will try to get his Browns within a field goal for a win. A reminder to stay tuned. Second half of our doubleheader. Some of you will see the Raiders in Houston, and others the Seahawks and the Giants. And then, of course, be with us 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 o'clock in the West, for NFL Live on Thanksgiving Day. As the tradition continues, 50th year of the game, the Browns will meet these Detroit Lions. No, those are our NFL Live guys.
There are Carolinas. They'll have plenty of their Thanksgiving.
I want to get some of that banana pudding of Michael Dean Perry. Webster Slaughter shaking free and a first down near midfield. Slaughter, 18 more yards. That's his 5th catch of the game.
Up the field, showing that quickness. You see him plant, and here comes the ball. They do that about as well as anybody. Kosar throwing that pivot hook, as we called it. The Slaughter coming to the outside. That pivot hook is the kind of play that Dwight Clark did so well with the 49ers. Bursting down the field, Montana timing it.
Rifling trio, they call themselves. The rookie Metcalf with outside receivers, Slaughter and Langhorne. They always get a little pesky fun, those three. Pesky indeed, as Slaughter against those defenses. Almost intercepted as Slaughter was the target, and Dino Hackett reaching in for Kansas City. By the way, Slaughter now with over 900 yards receptions. It's kind of a startling statistic in the history of the Cleveland Browns. Only one other wide receiver in one season ever caught passes totaling over 1,000 yards, and that was the Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. And Slaughter apparently is going to do it this year. Ozzie Newsome, a tight end, has done it twice, but the only other wide receiver, Warfield, and Slaughter is going to join some pretty select company apparently. He has 901 with the last catch today.
At least a 4-man rush coming. Bennett's unblocked. Screen pass. At least they wanted it to be.
Metcalf diving across the 50 to the 47, and Derrick Thomas again putting on some instant heat against Kosar.
Well, Metcalf was caught out there all by himself. They wanted to bring a lineman out with him. But here's Thomas getting there so quickly. Kosar's quick delivery is all that saved him.
Derrick Thomas, told you that story of trying to trace his roots. His father, when he was 5, killed in Vietnam, riding out an airplane as a co-pilot that had been hit. B-52 bomber. Outside, he got back apparently. No flag over the middle, and it was almost ricocheting into the arms of the Kansas City Chiefs. Intended for Reggie Langhorne, and Danny Copeland was the man, 25, 6th defensive back. And so the Browns drive will stall.
Again, the quickness of defense being right there, and then it was a tough throw for Kosar because he had heat on him. He couldn't throw the accurate ball he wanted to throw. Right now, the Cleveland has a distinct advantage in this situation because they're going to get Kansas City backed up. Kansas City not being effective offensively. Cleveland most likely will get the ball right back about this spot on the field in about a minute or maybe a minute and a half if they use their timeouts.
Brian Wagner sends it toward the end zone. And it takes a Cleveland bounce, and they can't down it. beautifully spotted kick and very close to being downed at the 1-yard line.
It looked as though the ball was going to die there, and then it was batted into the end zone.
Take a look at the other scores as all these games late in the 4th. New England has gone ahead of Buffalo, so we could have a real stir in the east of the AFC, and Tampa Bay's lead is cut to 6. A final. New Orleans has won, and now the 4th o'clock games, some of those starting now, and as soon as our game is over here, of course, we'll be switching to the second half of our doubleheader. The Rams early lead against Phoenix.
Green Bay is holding up against San Francisco. Did you see that?
You wise guy, just because you win 3 Super Bowls, son of a gun. All right, the Chiefs against this Browns defense, and they're going to get 5 yards there. The ball down, somebody better fall on it, and what if DeBerg's lineman does do just that? 92, Michael Dean Perry. They say he's so quick, Bill, that they really feel he'll take a handoff himself.
Well, he's right up on that line. All of them are. They're where they're being coached. John Tierlink does a great job of coaching this defensive line. They really care for him. He teaches them the skills, and they explode, and all they think is rush the passer and break up trap plays, and consequently they've been taking their toll all afternoon.
A lot of familial resemblance there. Michael Dean and his brother William the Refrigerator in Chicago. 1st and 5. Screen it out to Hurd. He's got some room. And he's near midfield before they can ride him out of bounds. Herman Hurd.
Their best play of the game right there. It had to be a total deception play where they pulled linemen, made a fake, and Hurd came out late out of the backfield. So what we're going to get is a play fake with DeBerg faking over here and these linemen moving this way, but then Hurd comes out late to the outside. So take a look at the fake, and Hurd waiting and now coming off late with an unblocked man, and DeBerg throwing the ball over his head.
Vein gash number 30, and Felix Wright finally get him out of bounds right at the 50. Okoye
just can't get anything done up front. They can't sustain their blocks. I think Irv Eatman's a little bit rusty coming back. I personally expected a lot more from him, but he's having real trouble on his side of the line of scrimmage sustaining his block, and he has the potential to be a truly great football player.
There's a timeout, the 2-minute warning here in Cleveland, where Kansas City has the ball in a 10-all tie.
Committed to the league, committed to its success.
Committed to the game.
And, yeah, committed to the artistic end of the game. They have a feeling for the game. They're not mercenaries.
Steve DeBerg at the Cleveland 49, trying to get in position for a Lowry field goal to win it. The Browns trying to get the ball back and give Kozar a chance, and it could be another offside.
Perry again.
Free down for DeBerg, and he's going long for Page. Well covered as Wright had him boxed in with Hanford.
Excellent safety play by both teams. Wright was in great shape to come over and make a play there, but again Perry jumped. I'd like to see DeBerg's head up close, because it looks to me like he's rocking that helmet and pulling Perry off.
And there's Felix Wright. We're talking about Wright.
Outside, number 92, defense.
And an inspiration for those who feel that down deep they're good enough, but no one else seems to think you are. Well, at Drake University, Felix Wright wasn't drafted. He taught school for a year, coached football, and they said, hey, you're still a good athlete. Why don't you give it a chance? He went to a Houston Oilers tryout camp with 400 other free agents, and he was one of 3 selected as the best, but they still didn't sign him. But he said, that was enough hope. I went to the Canadian League, learned the trade, and here he is, one of the top players in the NFL. Okoye, flags are down.
Matthews penetrated so quick and so hard that Hurd couldn't block him. He finally had to grab him. Now, does that hurt?
Well, and they could even take the play because there was a loss of about 3 or 4 and also take away the down. This will be an interesting choice for Bud Carson.
This really would.
Do you want 3rd down and about 8, or do you want 2nd down and 15.
Well, the way they're playing defense, I'm not sure. They had the one
Holding 85. Offense.
one fortunate pass, but they haven't been able to do a thing with their 4-receiver offense. On the right of the screen, you're going to see Hurd reach out for Matthews and grab him right there. That's about all he can do. That really wasn't Hurd. That was Jonathan Hayes as the tight end.
1:51 on the clock. Both teams have been bitten by the yellow flag.
A lot of that 46 defense tight front to stop the run.
Over the middle, no good. Intended for McNair, and Mark Harper made the play. And the thing about this defense of both teams in the secondary, the starters are so good that the men that come in to back up and come in as the 5th and 6th backs, people like Mark Harper are also, they'd be starters somewhere else.
Sure would. They just do a great job of just tight man-to-man coverage using their ability and those skills they've taught them.
Now with the incomplete pass and the penalties, no time ticking away. So if Cleveland could stop Kansas City here, they're going to get the ball back with timeouts and a chance to drive themselves. Lowry hoping that DeBerg can come up with a big throw on 3rd and 14.
Well, DeBerg's got to be careful here because an interception, just as we had at the end of the half, could mean the ball game. Got to be very careful with his throw. Very careful.
Screen. Hurd back inside with a blocker, but he can't get the first down. Tackled at the 45-yard line.
That was a good call. They didn't take a big chance with a pass down the field.
They picked up about 9 on the play.
Schottenheimer is going to call a timeout as soon as he can get as much time off that clock as he can. Let that clock run down.
That surprises me that Schottenheimer has called time with 1:20 to go and 4th down. And now Cleveland doesn't have to use the timeout, and it would appear Cleveland's about to get the ball.
I thought he was going to let the clock run down, use all of the 45 seconds, then call a timeout with 1 second left on the clock and punt so that Cleveland wouldn't have any time at all to try to move the ball. It looks as though he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it on 4th down from this spot on the field.
Well, maybe that's just the difference of being 4 and 6 rather than as the Browns are 7 and 3. But we've not as yet. We may see that punting team come on. Yeah, here they come. So he's changed his mind if indeed he was going to gamble. But I'm still surprised by the timeout. That saved Cleveland at least 20-25 seconds.
It did, and he could have used more time, I guess, is what we're saying before he did that.
Gerald McNeil back. 1:20 to go. Good burn. And he finally gets one with some distance and kicks it over the end line. So 20-yard line on the touchback for Cleveland, and Bernie Kosar and the Browns offense with 70 seconds to go. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League is intended for the private. 10-10.
At this point on the field, either team has about equal opportunity to score down this close, because all it would take would be an interception or a fumble, something of that nature, and Kansas City would have a field goal. So either team has an equal opportunity to win here, even with the fact that Cleveland has the ball.
80 yards away, 70 seconds to go. 2 timeouts left for Kosar. Keep your eye on Webster Slaughter. He's on the near side. Nope, it's Manoa on a draw. And he's to the 29.
It's well done. But now they're going to have to get going.
9 yards.
We're under a minute already.
Final minute of the game. 10-10 tie. Kosar launches one deep for Webster, and the closest man is Kevin Ross, but he was out of bounds.
Well, you're not seeing your typical prevent defense by Kansas City now. They're up on the line of scrimmage and backing off into a zone, but they are giving Cleveland a chance to go down the field with the ball. At this point, you would like to think that the prevent defense would become a factor right in this area.
Now on 3rd and 1, The Chiefs might be figuring Kozar is going to try to run for the first down, try to stack it up, and get another chance themselves.
Well, they're spread out. You would think they'd hand off to make sure they get that 1 yard.
3 wide receivers left. Manoa, the only running back.
There's the handoff.
And they're ready for it. He didn't get to the 30. That's going to be short of a first down. Chris Martin made the tackle, and Schottenheimer stops the clock with 37 seconds. Marty, you got the timeout.
Okay. He got his timeout, but again, this is a team that's now being put together. These are the little details that you miss on. They just lost a few seconds there. But a year from now, they'll call that timeout the instant the whistle blows and save those few seconds.
In light of this game's play, where each punter has seemingly been on the field as much as the quarterback, and there have been some treacherous snaps, especially for Cleveland. Kansas City might be going after Brian Wagner.
They're going to come after him, no question about that.
Naz Worthen will be the return man. And of course, Kansas City at one time regarded as one of the best, if not the best, in the league in blocking punts in the Frank Gann special team era, when they used the block kick to vault themselves all the way into the playoffs.
Frank became the head coach off those blocked punts.
They don't get to Wagner, and Worthen lets the ball bounce. It takes a Kansas City bounce and down by Oliphant at the 44-yard line. So that's a couple of passes away from a field goal.
One big play, one big pass.
One timeout left for Kansas City.
And they're going to have to use it if they complete the pass in bounds.
Yeah, with the Houston Oilers just a game behind Cleveland, this so important for the Browns as they have that tenuous lead atop the Central Division. And for Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer knows 4 games behind Denver that they're not going to win the West, but he certainly didn't say it, but you could see it in his eyes. He feels a win here today would give his team, figuring that they almost beat the first-place team in the West, Denver, last week, and they've given Cleveland now all they want, the first-place team in the Central, that a win today would give him a chance to think seriously wild card.
Sure, a win in this stadium, this great stadium with this great franchise, would establish the Chiefs are here to stay. The Chiefs are a competitive team.
DeBerg goes downfield, has a man open, and out of bounds is Pete Manley at the Cleveland 39-yard line.
Canton Dixon was singled up with nothing underneath, so DeBerg could throw that ball on line to his receiver. There wasn't any line backing or anything else underneath it. You see on the outside of the screen, you see that big comeback pattern with no help underneath. Consequently, DeBerg can throw an accurate ball there and not worry about a linebacker.
Boy, what a use of time. 6 seconds, 17 yards. And another pass like that, and Lowry will be well within range. 24 seconds to go.
Safety blitz.
Screen it out to McNair. He makes a nice move, and he's down to the Cleveland 28-yard line. Another first down, and timeout is called.
And they're bringing people blitzing. Both teams are blitzing in these situations, which I guess is the new wave of defense. But what they did was leave a lot of people without any way to pursue the ball. Now you're going to see the ball thrown to the outside, but you're going to see blitzes coming up inside here, and the receiver to the outside all by himself.
Well led by DeBerg. Watch how he just floats it out in front of McNair.
McNair does a fine job of running, but again, man-to-man coverage, nobody on McNair, and people blitzing.
14 seconds to go. By our count, that's the last time out, or do the Chiefs still have one? There's still one on the board, but we have it as the last time out. So do you fool around with 14 seconds to go here, or you go for the field goal right now?
Well, the only thing you could do would be to throw a quick so-called drag or quick pattern right to the sideline and have the receiver step out for another 4 or 5 yards to get closer.
Wouldn't Cleveland be looking for that?
I would think so. Somebody's going to drag quickly right to the sideline, and DeBerg's going to want to hit them. Either that or he's going over the top to try to make a big play.
Safety blitz, and he throws this one downfield. field, and Emil Harry. The problem with that is, had he caught the ball, they wouldn't have had time to get the field goal unit on. So here comes Lowry with a game in the balance. Kansas City can win it if the veteran Lowry, who has booted one from 41 yards here in the fourth quarter to tie, can make this one from 46 or 45 yards. Let's see where they kneel down. Looks as if it'll be a 45-yard attempt as Pallor sets up right in front of the uprights.
Well, off that last kick, he wouldn't make it. The last kick would have been short at 45 yards.
They're going to ice the kicker as Cleveland uses a timeout. And while they do, let's bring you up to date on the other scores. So many, so closely contested today as Bud Carson sweats it out on the near sideline. Cincinnati, not so close, bombing Detroit. Pittsburgh has beaten San Diego. Miami beats Dallas coming from behind. And New England has upset Buffalo. So Miami and Buffalo are now in a tie for first in the East. 31-29. The Bears coming from behind against Tampa Bay, struggling all day. New Orleans beat Atlanta. The Raiders have seen Houston score early on a Moon touchdown to Duncan of 25 yards. Green Bay and San Francisco getting into the scoring habit early. Now it's Nick Lowry. Ball will be spotted at the 35. A 45-yard kick for a win. And Lowry thinking this one through. Sometimes that's dangerous for kickers. Into the dog pound. And apparently we will go into overtime. 4 seconds left, and Lowry misses to the right. A flag is down. Wait a minute. A flag is down.
Oh.
Offside.
Offside.
And that's where Bill Walsh coaches.
I know how he feels. Oh.
Where was the offside? Someone must have lined up offside.
Where was it?
It had to be a lineup offside.
Somebody had to line up offsides?
You certainly can't see anyone lean off.
Sure wasn't flagrant of any kind. I couldn't see that myself.
So it'll be a 40-yard attempt as Lowry gets a second chance. Last play of the game. And Kansas City will not win. It hooks to the left. One of the most accurate kickers in the league all time. He's second all time. Nick Lowry misses right, gets a reprieve, and hooks left. And the Browns are still alive as we go to overtime. You know, Bill, that's what I thought the first one. When he made the 41-yarder earlier, it looked as if that's what was going to happen. It would hook, but it died and stayed inside the upright. But this one had a just healthy hook.
The team scoring first, winning the game. If neither team scores...
An unenviable job, that of the kicker. Every time they're on there, there's... That ball just skidding, almost picked up yellow paint as it went by outside the upright. Now, Marty Schottenheimer, we saw the despair last Sunday at home against Denver when Treadwell came on the final play of the game and won it for the Broncos. And now a chance, 2 chances to win in Cleveland, and Lowry unable to produce.
Well, this is Kansas City team is different than the ones we've seen in the last few years, because you can see where they are now, playing a fine Cleveland team.
Did you like to win the toss here in overtime?
Well, it depends on the win. We won the toss against Denver 2 years ago. They picked the win, and we were bottled up, and they finally beat us. So with a real severe wind, you'd want to kick the ball.
Well, the Browns want the football. We go to overtime. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. The Raiders, but boy, those watching us today must have groaned along with those in Kansas City and Cincinnati when Lowry missed twice to keep Cleveland alive. Seattle and the Giants. You'll see that game at the conclusion of this overtime from Cleveland, and the Browns a short week before they go Thanksgiving Day to meet these four gentlemen in Detroit. And NFL Live will be on at noon Thanksgiving Day. We hope you'll enjoy the holiday with NBC Sports. Looking forward to bringing you that game. Somehow the Lions often manage to get up even in losing years to make it tough on the opposition. That's their national game. Lowry kicks it off. Metcalf watches it go out of bounds. So Nick Lowry's in a slump.
That
5-yard
hurts
penalty.
about as much as the missed field goal because they get the ball on the 35-yard line.
35 indeed. Overtime records. All time, that really doesn't matter. In '89, the Browns have been in overtime once this year, and they lost to Miami 13-10. That was in that middle of the season 4-game span where Bernie Kosar was in a slump. They averaged only 12 points a game. Since then, they've broken out, starting with that Monday night win against the Bears, winning the last 4 in a row, beating the Bears, Houston, Tampa Bay, and at Seattle, a big win last week, and now trying to make it 5 straight, brought back from the dead.
Well, defenses now should start caving in just a little bit because these players are, whether they want to be or feel it, they're a little tired, a little leg weary, and you can start making some offensive plays even against the best defenses.
And you wonder about the emotional letdown now by the Chiefs after having the victory in their grasp. Metcalf spinning out of the grasp of a tackle to pick up 8 yards. Dino Hackett finally secured him along with Kevin Porter.
Hackett's played a great game.
15-minute sudden death overtime period. Do you use a different strategy? Did you think differently when you got into overtime?
Well, you've got to be not cautious, but just a touch conservative, especially in the middle of the field, because one miscue, and the other team gets the ball, because the field goal beats you right away. So it's obviously sudden death. So just be somewhat conservative when you decide who to throw to and when to throw to. That's the key.
Well, he just got that one off with 1 second on the clock. Kosar incomplete to Metcalf. Never had control.
Well, there was a screen pass, and it was covered immediately. So Metcalf broke up inside. It was sort of a tough play, a spontaneous play on his part. But again, Hackett was right there.
And so was Mike Bell on Kosar. The veteran end was putting some pressure on the quarterback.
Here go the receiver group. People like Hackett coming out of the game.
3rd down, 2. Lawyer Tillman to the left. Slaughter to the bottom of your picture. Brennan in the slot.
Here's a blitz again.
The throw to the sidelines to Slaughter. He's got it in the 1st down. Tough catch by Webster Slaughter. He's got a half dozen today.
Slaughter is one of the great clutch players in the game.
He's on his way to the Pro Bowl, wouldn't you think, the way he's playing this year?
Look at the coverage is right there. Lewis is a great player. And that's a well-thrown ball, too. Kosar has a way of getting that ball sharply out to the outside. Among the better quarterbacks at doing that.
So many good receivers in the league. It's tough to get that Pro Bowl nod, especially when the veterans basically get a little extra attention. But Slaughter's had that kind of season. 1st down at the 50. 2 minutes into overtime. Metcalf runs into his own blocker, and that's the reason for that. He was being stuffed, I believe, by Derrick Thomas. Let's see who that man was. 58, Derrick Thomas.
He is so tough on that open side. It's almost impossible to make something happen over. He can be blocked. He can get off the block. You'll see here, blocked. And now look at him, splits people, come underneath and make a play. Of course, everybody else was there also, but
he's
Thomas
a player.
is really a force.
Being tackled by Manoa when he fought off Manoa and got to Metcalf. Second down, Kozar. Into the flat. What a throw! Metcalf has it. Fell on his feet and out of bounds at the 36-yard line. What a throw by Bernie Kozar.
Well, we knew Derrick Thomas would be on Metcalf man to man, and he was right on his hip. But Kozar got that ball in there. It's an excellent catch. Excellent catch. You're going to see him swing to the outside, and you're going to see at the same time Derrick Thomas come right out with him down the sideline together, and Metcalf makes the play. You see him right there, right outside with him all the way, and he still makes the play.
That just took a pinpoint throw by Kozar to make it work, and now the Browns are about a first down away from a field goal that could win it. Hanging on to the football, Metcalf. The first time this year he lost it on a fumble and nearly lost another right at the goal line on the Cleveland touchdown when he was diving in. Just did get the ball across the line. Veteran Matt Barr, he's been there many times, and he's a good off-field kicker.
There's real stress on a defense now. Obviously, the situation would dictate that, but also the fatigue factor begins to set in. They've been in these football uniforms for over 4 hours now.
Second and 8. Metcalf gets away from Saliamua, but that was enough to force him wide, and the tackle made by Derrick Thomas.
Saliamua did it. He forced him deep, forced him outside the blocking lanes, and by that time everybody would be there. Saliamua there's no step backward for Moss, and Saliamua takes that starting job.
Derrick Thomas with the speed to get to Metcalf and create a loss of a yard, actually 2, so it's back to 3rd and 10.
The Chiefs aren't cracking.
Big play.
It's different than other Chiefs teams I've seen.
Kozar, shovel pass, and Oliphant fumble, picked up by Lewis Cooper of the Kansas City Chiefs. And Cooper is out to the 35-yard line. So a team that had fumbled only 4 times all year, lowest in the league, has lost 3 today on this wintry Cleveland Sunday. And Bud Carson's team not only loses a chance at a long field goal, the Chiefs take over at the 34.
Looks like he has it in his left hand, and he's not protecting the ball.
Neil Smith, I believe, is the man who got a hand in there to swat it away, as Oliphant has his second fumble today.
He's carrying the ball in that left hand. I don't think he's left-handed. And if so, he didn't have quite the control of it he needed. Again, Oliphant or Metcalf, you'd wonder.
And Brian Brennan is the man injured for Cleveland. We're in overtime, 10:44 left in the period. Tied at 10.
You don't want to slow down on your way to the top. It's the right beer now. Because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a mountain stream, you've got to start with the mountain stream.
An excellent job of bringing that organization together.
And with Minnesota losing earlier, it denied Chicago a chance to move back into a tie for first in the Central. Back to business here in Cleveland, tied at 10 after Lewis Cooper recovers the fumble. Christian Okoye gets nothing again.
No way that play's going to work. I'll tell you right now, everybody's moving toward it right with Okoye.
When you see this kind of defense against Christian Okoye, you wonder how in the world he's leading the league.
Well, they're going to have to find other ways to use him. They haven't run any trap plays at all. And maybe those kinds of things would help him out some. But this Cleveland defense, with 4 linemen coming up the field so hard, and those great linebackers, you're not going to have a running game.
Lights on here in Cleveland. We have not gotten the rain, thank goodness. It was predicted. DeBerg is wrapped up. That's a sack. Back at the 27, he was in control. And he may be hurt. And if he is, Kansas City has big problems. Because Steve Pallure was lost in the first half with a knee. Holding his hand.
Big pass rush coming up outside. Bubba Baker. Eatman has not had a great game. Ballinger, who'd been playing in the past, I think, would have had a better game against someone like Bubba Baker. But Eatman has not had a good game, and he hasn't been playing. So he's rusty. And that's hurt him.
3rd down, 16, and timeout called by DeBerg. This may be just to see if he's all in one piece as he goes to the sidelines. 9:42 left in overtime. Looking at the other scores, the finals of early games: Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Miami winners, New England an upset winner, Philadelphia in the final 2.5 minutes takes Minnesota, Tampa Bay dramatically, New Orleans win. We'll check the late scores after this play. Kansas City, 3rd and long, 16 to go, and DeBerg appeared injured and went to the sideline. Scrambles away from Baker. Tries to get to the yardsticks, but doesn't quite make it at the 42, but at least he gave his punting team some room, and an injured quarterback hustling to try to get the first down. Punting team comes on. The late scores for you. Many of you tuning in to see these games. Berline has hit Mike Dial a touchdown to tie Houston at 7. The Giants have scored on a Sims to Howard Cross pass. Green Bay scored on a Laskowski pass, and Montana to Craig 11 yards for San Francisco, and the Rams with a 14-0 lead. They got an interception return for a touchdown from Stewart.
Well, that yardage by DeBerg there will be most helpful in getting some kind of field position.
4th and 2, and the best kick of the day, a perfect spiral by Goodburn. Inside the 8 is the ice cube, and he gets only to the 19-yard line. So that scramble by DeBerg, and then Goodburn's 49-yard punt, best of the day, pins Cleveland deep. 3 defensive alignment of Bud Carson. Didn't play much for Marty Schottenheimer. Metcalf knocked down in the backfield. Neil Smith penetrating, and then Metcalf running into his blockers, and Smith securing the stop for a loss of about 5.
That was just absolute penetration. You'd have to say Paul Farron was most likely the man blocking Smith, and something went awry because Smith was untouched.
The only touchdowns. Neil Smith, the man you're watching now, picked up an Oliphant fumble early in this second half, went 3 yards for the Kansas City score. Metcalf, a 1-yard dive for Cleveland that capped a 48-yard march, and that was the march of the offenses of this afternoon. Those are deep in his own end, 2nd and 15. In traffic, and down he goes at the 9-yard line. Leonard Griffin, number 98, who is emerging as another of the many fine defensive players for Kansas City.
Well, Kansas City may not be a playoff team this year. We'll have to find out, but I'll tell you they're going to be a competitive team. And the people that follow that franchise should take a lot of pride in this game, demonstrating how far they've come, how quickly they've come that far with this new coaching staff and Carl Peterson in the personnel area. And they're going to be a competitor. First time really a serious competitor in a long time.
Well, they're really being measured the last 2 weeks. Denver, the top record in the AFC last week, and they lose on a field goal in the final play, and they've taken Cleveland on the Browns' home field into overtime today. And their defenses allowed just 1 touchdown in over 3 games, the defense of the Browns.
An error offensively can cost a game, so you have to account for that. Can't throw an interception.
And you're looking at 19 for a first down.
Very careful throw here.
Here
Very
comes Derrick Thomas. They go deep. And Tillman, they're trying to use the height of Tillman at 6'5" against the short defensive back 5'9" Kevin Ross, but incomplete. And now Kansas City should get fairly decent field position as Brian Wagner comes in to punt, and he'll have to kick from near his own goal line.
Well, Kevin Ross timed his jump right with Tillman. Tillman went up, then Ross went right up underneath him to make the play on the ball. He didn't try to jump directly with Tillman. He couldn't have made it.
Well, Wagner punting for the 11th time. I bet he's close to a Cleveland record. Kicks right from the goal line. Gets off a honey.
Great punt.
Worthen to his own 46. Oliphant with that speed gets to him in a hurry. What a kick by Wagner. Under pressure.
Tremendous coverage. Oliphant does get down there.
44 yards on the kick, and Oliphant making sure that Worthen went nowhere. Tonight on NBC, tripled your fun. Magic World of Disney. 46-yard line, Kansas City. Had 2 chances in the final seconds, but missed field goals from Lowry. Play action, and incomplete to Hurd, who was open.
Bad throw. That was their one chance to make the play. They'd used that before for that big game coming out of their own end zone. This time, same thing. Everything developed, and Steve DeBerg missed his guy. Is my voice chattering, Dick? Are my teeth chattering?
Yeah, the night is going to be quickly upon us here in Cleveland, Ohio, where it's about 9 minutes before 5 o'clock in overtime. 7 minutes to go. That man, Nick Lowry, had his chances, couldn't deliver. Kansas City trying to give him another opportunity. DeBerg, play action, and going deep for Manley. And Hanford Dixon had him well shielded.
Well covered. I think DeBerg wanted to go to the other side of the field, and that was covered, so he came back this way. You talk about a courageous football player, Steve DeBerg, as the typical quarterbacks, but take a look. Look at this.
Andrew Stewart.
And look at him look up the field. I mean, that shows you how competitive the guy is.
35 years old, 13th year, and well around the bun has Steve DeBerg. Brown showing blitz. Matthews coming. And it's caught for a first down by Stephon Page, and that's his first reception of the game, I believe.
It was well-timed. Well-timed throw. Ross was all over him, but it was just well-timed and a soft enough ball that Page could make a big catch on it. Good pass protection. Line stunts up front. Just a soft ball. Page could make a play on it.
Frank Minifield unable to knock it away, and Page, a top receiver for the Chiefs, had a concussion last week against Denver. Has over 270 career catches, gets his first today, and what a big one on third down, and a first down with it at the Browns 40. Okoye flag down. Okoye down as well for a loss. And it does appear the Kansas City offense today is much sharper without Okoye, better with a shorter, smaller, quicker backs.
Well, they just can't dominate the edges of the defense because the Browns' outside linebackers are too tough to handle.
Holding, number 53. Offense.
Mike Webster. Of course, he's got his hands full up in the middle there.
Yeah, you gotta love Webster, though, and not just because he's been a brilliant player and he's got his spot reserved at Canton, Ohio in the Hall of Fame. He said, gee, I like coming to Cleveland. The weather is cold, the sky is gray. It'll get my uniform dirty. There's a tradition here, the great coaches, the great players that have played. And so that really turns me on. You don't hear players say that much anymore.
Well, he could name 5 or 6 games immediately that were played here, virtually every game he played here.
Give this to McNair. Runs right into the teeth of that Browns defense. Short yardage on first down. Clay Matthews. When you talk about a man who still is young after a dozen years in the NFL, how about Clay Matthews at 33? They talk about Ozzie Newsome, and Newsome saying maybe this is his last year. At least he's indicated that. Matthews and Newsome came in at the same time. You get no feeling that this man is going to retire soon.
He's playing great football. Those edges of that defense with Van Waiters or Grayson on one side and Matthews on the other. Mike Johnson in the middle. That's an excellent group of linebackers.
Shotgun on second down, 16. Hand off to McNair. Read well by the defense. Picked up only a yard. Mark Harper coming up from a defensive back position to make the tackle.
You thought of a tie game, Dick?
It's
most likely right now.
Tough to look that one up, but it's been a long time since we've had a tie game in the NFL.
We had one against the 49ers had one against Atlanta a few years ago, 10-10.
That's what we've got today with 4:49 and time running out. They played just the 15-minute period of overtime. long from the Cleveland
Here comes the
45.
blitz.
And unable to find an open man, DeBerg had to unload. He had someone breaking open by plenty, but Clarence Weathers had no chance as DeBerg had to get rid of him. Here comes Kelly Goodburn, and now time running down. There may be a chance each left in this overtime period.
What's surprising to me is both teams are willing to go all-out blitz on those third down situations. When it could cost them, they're going right ahead and doing it.
Goodburn sends off another terrific kick, very high. McNeil takes it inside the 5. Very dangerous, and he's pulled down at the 4. Oh, my.
That was, I guess, questionable or valiant effort, but a questionable decision.
Inside the 10, the basic rule is you let it go, but McNeil, who has returned some for scores, hoping to come up with a big play. Now he's pinned his team deep in its own end. 4:25 to go.
You don't think these offensive coordinators on both clubs calling these plays are frustrated right now? They're just looking for groping for something that'll be effective against these defenses.
Here comes Lawyer Tillman in with Bernie Kosar. You saw McNeil looking those bright eyes of his at the action, hoping he hasn't put Kosar in too rough a spot. Manoa, the only man in the backfield with Kosar, who comes out in a shotgun. They'll be looking for the draw, and they get it from Manoa, and he's hit immediately. That seemed pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious.
Derrick Thomas with another tackle.
Well, Derrick was unblocked. He jumped to the outside late, came up the field, and there wasn't anybody there to block him. They're trying to run a draw without anyone else in the backfield. There can't be enough blocking to deal with a number of men coming up the field in the pass rush.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs and some Hardy fans there would have known that the last high overtime involved them last year. The throw to the sidelines for Lawyer Tillman, and he may have a first down. The Jets and the Chiefs tied at 17 last October. Joe Costanza, good job. Well, you know everything, Joe. How do you remember that stuff?
Is the temperature dropping, Dick, or?
It may indeed. It started just above freezing, and Tillman gives a Browns fan some hope and gives Bernie Kosar room. 3:47 left in overtime. For those of you looking for the second half of our doubleheader, stay with us. Seattle and the Giants, or the Raiders Houston to follow this overtime. Kosar trying to come up with some last-minute heroics, picking away short stuff now. Uses Tillman, who had caught only 3 passes in this his rookie year prior to today, but he's gone for him now twice today, and several other times it was his number called. Let's check on the other games, especially the late games. Still tied in Houston. Now in the second quarter, Giants lead Seattle 7-0. Boy, the Rams big now, 21-0 against Phoenix, and the Packers lead the 49ers 14-7. On second down, the throw. That first down pass apparently was not caught by Tillman. He trapped it. And Reggie Langhorne does catch this one, and we have an injured Chief on the play. And it's Neil Smith holding his ankle. Smith, the man, he's played a solid game today. That had the fumble recovery for a touchdown.
The play prior to this, he was the difference in getting the heat on Kosar.
I feel he's building Smith as a #1 draft last year, the second player picked in the draft. That with his speed and size, Smith's going to be a great player, and after a rookie year that was uneven, he's really starting to play well. Let's hope this isn't serious.
Tampa Bay 32, Chicago 31.
3:37 left. It'll be third down and about 2 when we go back to the next play.
Well, both clubs are getting just a step slow. I've said it, been saying it for about 15 minutes now, but they've got to tire at some point.
Watch on the left-hand side, number 90, Smith. Yeah, he kind of caught the right leg as he was going after Kozar.
It wasn't a blow to the leg, so it'd have to be sort of a strain. Looks like he'll be okay.
You know what went through my mind when I saw that replay was Tim Crumry. Remember how he broke his leg in that your Super Bowl game without being hit because of just the body torque.
Well, what the body's asked to do, or is expected to do in these kinds of sports when you're responding to something else. It's not rehearsed, you're responding. All kind of things can go wrong.
So Leonard Griffin, 98, replacing Smith. And now with 3:37 left, Cleveland doesn't want to give up the ball on 3rd down and a long one, figuring they might not get it back.
Well, if they've got a play pass right here, this is most likely the time to try it.
Metcalf is the deep back. And he gets the call and breaks through. And first down at the 31-yard line. Cherry and Ross made the tackle, and that's the kind of play that you can break for a long one.
Well, it was well blocked. It's one of the few times there's been an effectively blocked run, and Metcalf's stamina shows up.
He comes out.
The victory we saw earlier, Dick, against Houston, Metcalf at the end of the game was dominating the game at 175 pounds.
Kozar, incomplete, trying to hit Langhorne on the near side. Albert Lewis, the cover man. And Neil Smith is back in the game for Kansas City. Good news for Chiefs fans.
Well, he wants to play, I'll guarantee you.
And has. A touchdown of a fumble. One of the keys to the game. In case you're joining us late, no score until the final seconds of the first half when Matt Barr, the Browns, kicked a 40-yard field goal. Then Smith recovered the fumble for a touchdown 3 yards to start the second half. And Metcalf dived in from 1 to give Cleveland a 10-7 lead. Lowry tied it with a 41-yard field goal, and then Lowry missed twice in the final seconds that could have won it. Underneath to the 39-yard line is Langhorne. A good target from Elizabeth City State. Jethro Pugh and John Walton also out of that North Carolina institution. 3rd down and 2.5 to 3. With that clock at 2:37, we're looking at final chances now.
Well, Kozar on this play, if he were ever to throw the ball with a play fake, this would be the time to do it.
So you'd be tempted maybe go for the whole word?
Right here.
Defense all pinched in looking for the run, and they get it with Metcalf. And look at the play by the Chiefs as diving in with Hackett to slow him up, and Albert Lewis finished it off. But it was Hackett who shot the gap and hit Metcalf in the backfield for the loss. And Kansas City apparently will get the last chance to win it.
This is some of the best inside linebacking I've seen in a long time. Hackett throughout the day. Look at that driving hit. He's so decisive, and he's scraping into the hole so aggressively that he's on top of things before he can be blocked.
So the inside linebacking play of Hackett and, of course, of Thomas outside for Kansas City, and we've seen great linebacking from Cleveland. It has been true to the score at 10-all. The defenses have been outstanding. Almost blocked. Albert Lewis in there, and what a kick. Wagner, Worthen all the way back to his 10-yard line. And he is tackled at the 17. It was Blaylock, 84 down, or 24 downfield for Cleveland. And these kickers who had trouble early in the game really getting any distance have done their best booting late.
Some great punts right at the end. Well, it's quite likely that Marty Schottenheimer is going to have to, on 4th down, go for something in his own territory and try to win it.
Well, why not go for a tie?
I'd go for a tie. I definitely would. I really would. In many ways, it wouldn't hurt Cleveland a tie, I don't think. In Kansas City,
it's a moral victory.
Darn right. They've established the fact they can come into Cleveland, play on the road, play well, I'd hate to think they'd have to go for it and not make it.
57-yard kick by Wagner has pinned Kansas City deep. DeBerg underneath, blocked at the line of scrimmage. I believe it was Bubba Baker. Al, who was in an auto accident midweek. Someone asked if he was knocked unconscious. He said, how do I know? Most of the time when I'm not even in accidents, I don't know if I'm conscious or not.
It might have put Bubba back on an even keel.
Look at the snowball comes flying in here from the dog pound. You know about that. There it is, right at DeBerg.
Right. Oh, we had that snowball game in Denver, if you remember. I'd hate to think about that one.
Second and 10. Out of the backfield, McNair breaks the tackle by Dixon and then gets out of bounds. Helped out rudely by Clay Matthews. He's short of a first down.
Well, you know, McNair really shows some quickness every time he does have a chance to get the ball. But he has had very few chances. Everything he gets is breaking to the sideline. He has nowhere to go but go out of bounds.
Ball is spotted at the 24. Third down. And a long three for Marty Schottenheimer. Bud Carson checking the clock. 1:36. If he can stop Kansas City here, he'll have a final desperation chance. But a first down for Kansas City might deny. Up the middle, complete to Emil Harry. And Harry is out to the 47-yard line. So Kansas City maintains control. A 23-yard play.
That's 3 balls inside to Emil Harry during the day from that inside slot spot against that nickel defense. There's a hole in there every time they play zone.
Each team has 1 timeout, the overtime timeout allotted. 1:10 to go. You saw Marty Schottenheimer say, hurry up, to the sidelines to McNair. And he's into Cleveland territory at the 45-yard line. Fumbled the ball, or was he down? He was down. Clock is running. Kansas City in a semi-hurry up as Nick Lowry, with some dark thoughts in his mind, warming up. DeBerg again to the sidelines, and it bobbles out of McNair's hands. A little low, and McNair will catch those, but that's a little tougher once it gets down below the knees.
He'd have gotten some yardage there. That might have given them a chance. But DeBerg's having to hurry his throw so quickly that they're not accurate throws.
Third down and a yard. 35 seconds to go. Overtime in Cleveland. And trying to get within range of Nick Lowry. Lowry has some of the longest kicks in NFL history, but they were early in his career. He twice hit field goals from 58 yards. He does have his longest this year, 50, which would mean line of scrimmage around the 33. They're at the 45. The throw downfield is complete. And here's where they'll have to use their timeout as Clarence Weathers has it at the 35. They're not going to use the timeout. The snap, and they might get an offside penalty. It appeared that the Browns did not get back onside. 18 seconds on the clock.
Clearly the Browns weren't back quickly enough.
There's a case where in the old days you could kind of lag back and chew up some time.
Sure.
But it's your obligation to get back onside, and I believe it was Perry that was slow, and that 5 yards could be critical. It takes it from the 35 to the 30, and that means that Lowry's distance now would be from inside the 50-yard line.
Now you'll see this man not getting there quickly enough, and DeBerg's sharp enough to see it. He's still coming forward. DeBerg knows he's there, right there, so he just snapped the ball.
And he could have made it easily. He was almost walking as he got to the line of scrimmage. 18 seconds to go. DeBerg
Full blitz.
throws deep. And incomplete. Really slippery down at that end of the field. Clarence Weathers was down. So Kansas City gambling on getting a bomb. And Nick Lowry apparently is going to get another chance after he missed from 40 and 35 yards. They could have won it in the final seconds of regulation. At the moment, it would be a 47-yard field goal attempt. 12 seconds on the clock. And Kansas City still has the one timeout that they can use. He's certainly keeping warm. Incomplete to Weathers, who was free. He would have gotten some good yardage.
They had their chance. Weathers could have gotten to the sideline, I believe, and he could have gotten much closer.
Well, 7 seconds to go, and the pictures and the sounds and Lowry's foot against ball will tell you whether this game belongs to Kansas City or whether these two teams go home with a share. Not even close. I don't know if someone got a piece of it, but Nick Lowry goes home with a hat trick. He had 3 chances to win and came up wide right, came up wide left, and very short this time. And DeBerg, who was injured, you know that he was in pain the entire overtime when hit early in the overtime period, but with Lowry injured and no one else able to play, he was able to go through it. Lowry's spot was perfect. Lowry
just scuffed it, didn't he?
Didn't seem to get it all. So that's the struggle for Marty Schottenheimer and this Kansas City team. So close again to victory, and the opportunities there unable to come up with the one big play. Now the final play from Kozar. He wings it deep. And intercepted by Albert Lewis, our Budweiser most valuable player. Derrick Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs. So tough to pick. You could pick any one of a number of Chiefs or Browns off the defensive side, but Derrick Thomas, the man for Budweiser, the MVP. And we say goodbye from Cleveland, Ohio, where the Chiefs and the Browns have struggled defensively and battled indeed to a 10-all standoff.